Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, again to another wonderful podcast. I think we're up to number 5 or number 6. I actually really should start paying attention to this. Number 6 of Worth a Damn Gaming. How are we all doing? My name is Jake Stavik, and as usual, joining me, my Pokemon trainer, Street Rat Atlas. I nearly forgot your name. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Hello, stream. I have been doing well, considering that the Pokemon Presents I was very chuffed about. So I'm excited to go into the conversation later about it.
There was a lot there. And there were like little other tidbits that I haven't really gone into. But surprisingly, like, they are just nailing it with the Pokemon stuff. And there was something I read recently that I was like, okay, that's changed my mindset on the cadence of the Pokemon releases. I don't like it, but I can also see the reasoning behind it. But yeah, we'll get into that later. But overall, how are you doing?
Really good. Had a really good day today.
Really? What'd you get up to?
Just hang out with some family. It was nice.
Any particular family?
I don't know. I think the guy that I'm streaming with.
Alpha. Yes, of course, because we were celebrating our wonderful daughter Piper's first year birthday today. Woohoo! She's finally 1. Of course, she's asleep, so, she can't be involved in this wonderful podcast. But yes, she turned 1 today. We had a bit of a gathering, just some lunch with some family members and a couple of friends, close friends. So it was lots of fun.
It was good. It was really nice catching up with everyone. And I haven't ever had bad moments spending time with your mum.
I was going to say,
I always end on such a happy note.
You had such a long the fact that the 4 of you were just sitting there and you were just in your own world. I was like, wow, I wish I was a part of that, but that's okay. You guys enjoy it, so that was great.
Yeah, it was really nice, and it was good seeing everyone. It's good. I can't believe everyone's kids are growing up so fucking quickly.
It just the passing of time can be so fucking ridiculous sometimes. You really do. Like, between, I don't know if you've started feeling your bones or like your muscles and stuff just not working the way they used to, but you do kind of get to that age where you start noticing, oh, this is what my parents were talking about, that when you get older, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like, yep, no, I can relate. I can start to relate. I haven't gotten to their age where it's even worse, where I see them getting off the ground when they're kneeling, playing with Piper, and it's like, ugh, like all the groans and moans, and you're like, that's not going to be fun for me when I'm your age. Not looking forward to that. I'm going to enjoy still having some mobility. Thank you very much.
But I've been good otherwise. Not a lot, just the usual, working and reading a new book.
Ooh,
well, I don't know how new it is, but I have started reading Dungeon Crawler, which is apparently a very big hit book. One of my colleagues on Friday is like, oh my God, I have been meaning to talk to you when I see you. I have been reading this book. You're going to love it. And I was like, okay, what is it about? And he's like, this guy and his cat go to a dungeon. And I was like, okay, you're piquing my interest right now. And he's like, yeah. And it's aliens. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, you have to level up. And I'm like, okay, this sounds like a video game. And he's like, it's 100% a video game. I'm currently, I'm getting very sought out online, solo leveling. So I'm getting a lot of anime tropes in this book. And so far, it has been such a joy to read because I had a few hours to kill before the Pokemon Presents. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to read. And what I'm reading, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. I yeah, it's really enjoyable. I'm not too far in. I'm in the tutorial, so to speak, of the
Of the
main
book, the
character's
story.
journey.
Yep.
It's 18 levels. Aliens come and pretty much wipe out anyone who is indoors. Anyone who's outside
Yep.
has the opportunity to partake in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And stairs open up into the ground. And if you don't partake, you have an hour. You have to fend for yourself. So good luck on the earth, because you're going to need to go survival. And I'm really enjoying this character. The way
Nice.
he thinks is really funny, because I started reading it and I was like, oh, wow, this is similar to how I think. So I'm already connecting with the character.
Nice.
It's fun. So I'm reading that, and other than reading, I have been playing Lies of P on my stream. And
How's that going?
Good. I'm up to, I'm from what you've said, I'm right at the end. I've just got to reach the mansion and then get to the final boss.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm at the Stargazer with the other character, and that's where I ended.
Yep.
But
you're gonna. By the way, you're gonna love that sequence. It is so well. It is. What's the word I'm looking for here? It's so badass because it really. I think it's the first time that I've seen in a game where the NPC that comes along with you feels more capable than what you are. And I just go, wow, I like what you've done here. This is actually fucking dope. And yeah, the last little bit, which I'm choosing to use her because it just feels right for the story. But I can see how some people would just ignore that little bit and just do the boss by themselves, which I'm kind of like, I get it. But also, come on. She's just fucking Sephiroth levels of just awesomeness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I was impatiently waiting, but I have started Pokemon Fire Red on the Switch too.
Yes, because this finally released. How is it?
Yes. It's good. I'm still choosing my starter.
Oh, okay. All right. So we haven't quite got there yet.
Look, with the amount of times that I've been playing Fire Red, I could easily be up to Cerulean City.
Yeah.
But I went, nah, let's shiny hunt for the startup. So I'm doing the soft resets. I'm looking for that shiny Charmander.
Wait, so does it have modifications already inbuilt into the game?
No, it's very much the game.
The original?
But they're not shiny locked. So there's a 1 in 8,193 chance that it can be shiny. I am about...
Wait, hold on. You mean the starter itself?
Yeah, yep.
You're joking.
Nope. It's a very small chance.
So what are you, like, resetting the game every single time just so you can get that fucking shiny?
Yep.
That's bonkers, man. Why would... No. What's wrong with you people? Anyway, keep going. That's my rant over.
I am just still standing in front of Charmander's Pokeball, and every time he is not shiny, I do a soft reset, load back into my save, and pick him again. And I see, are you shiny or not? And then I reset.
How long have you already counted how many hours you've spent doing that while watching Picard?
How'd you know I'm watching Picard?
Just, a little bird told me.
Oh, cheeky bastard.
Yeah.
I am at about 40 resets. I'm
Okay,
guesstimating. I
that's not
haven't
too
been
bad.
counting.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not that
Still
I'm
fucking
doing
annoying.
hour-long stints. Yeah, I mean, sure. But it is something that I'm kind of like, okay, let's do 5 now. Okay, I'm not getting it. Let's take a break. So I'm not trying to burn myself out
Yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to get the shiny.
Cool.
But that's not to say I don't have a shiny in other Pokemon games of
Yeah, yeah.
Charmander. It's just for this particular run, it would just be nice so I can feel a bit more individual as a Pokemon trainer.
So
And
here's
it,
a question.
Hmm.
Was that the same thing that was applied even in the original on the cartridge, that you could get that shiny from the beginning?
Yes. So they're not shiny locked. So you could have a shiny Bulbasaur, a shiny Squirtle, or a shiny Charmander.
See, I'm just thinking about the poor bastard who had to do it on the original system and had to sit there and go through the whole introduction, renaming their character just to get up to that point where you go, okay, is it going to be up? No, fuck. All right, now I got to start the whole thing, reset my save, and begin again.
No, you just you save in front of it. So it's when you pick it up,
Oh, okay.
when it would choose if it's shiny or not.
Okay.
So I'm
I didn't
standing in
realize you could
front
save
of
at any point.
picking.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh
That
god,
makes
this
fucking
game.
sense. Jesus Christ.
You want to make sure you're saving because there's no autosave system. It is OG. If you want to save as regularly as possible, but you've only got the one save as per every other Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But shinies weren't introduced until Generation 2, Generation 3 maybe. So I've been playing the start of Fire Red and watching Picard, which is so interesting because I haven't been watching from season 1.
Yep.
I got into it at season 2,
Okay.
and I found it was so easy to just get into this adventure.
Yep.
And just go, okay, these people are from the past. This is who he knows. And honestly, it has been so much fun that I'm considering watching Next Generation.
Whoa, going old school.
Yeah.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
It's fun. And
Yep. No, isn't it funny how your brain, as you get older, it just changes its tastes enough. And then when you come back to some of these shows that are theoretically being redone, remastered, whatever, and you go, I think I might be ready for this. And then you go back and you go, wow, this was actually fucking ahead of its time. Or you go, this is campy, but I can see why people enjoyed it. So, yeah, like, good on you for, like, giving it a try.
Thank you. It's really fun. And oh my gosh, season 2 of Monarch, which is the Godzilla side story, season 2 dropped on Friday. And I had watched season 1, and I really enjoy the Monsterverse. I think it's awesome. I think they've done Godzilla justice in the storyline and the alternate Earth story, Kong. Awesome. I'm enjoying it.
Are you looking forward to the new movie?
Supernova. Yes.
Yeah.
I am. Because
cool.
once I finished season 1 and I was up to date, so I had to rewatch it so I could remember all the characters and what their journey was, because it plays in 2015, which is between Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I completely disregarded the fact that they were doing a TV show kind of in tangent with the films. So, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. That universe is nuts.
Oh, it is a deep universe.
Mm,
And it's been really
sure.
fun watching it. Deep is in there's so many elements from even the old school Godzilla.
Yeah, look, I think they're handling some of that. Look, I'll be honest, I'm not much of a monster guy, so my point of reference for a lot of that stuff is very basic.
Mhm.
And King Kong, I'm quite familiar with that story because I've seen the Peter Jacksons, I've seen like some of the original stuff. So that side of the story I'm pretty familiar with. Godzilla has always been more like, oh, I just know him from like the images and stuff that they've, and some of the video footage that they've had from the original Japanese shows and movies. But I never really got into the monster films in general. I was always kind of like, yeah, it's like Power Rangers was that version for me, but I don't need like, oh,
Yeah.
here's this massive monster that's destroying the city. It's just okay, cool. But people get excited. I can see why people enjoy, and especially these new movies, they go really fucking insane on the special effects. Like I've seen some of the behind the scenes
Oh
special effects on
gosh.
it, and I go, yeah, fucking hell. The amount of rendering that's involved in dealing with the monster itself with whatever it's destroying around it, and then trying to composite that with whatever the actors are doing in front of it.
Mm.
It's fucking insane. Like the amount of just orchestration, organization of your assets, organization of your actors, knowing exactly what they're doing from scene to scene, so it all just flows, and you've got, you know, this story that's happening with the whole world like falling apart with these monsters that just live amongst us. It's batshit insane, but I can see the appreciation.
It's what I used to enjoy about Transformers when it first became mainstream, when
Mm,
Michael Bay started it.
yeah.
And that was really enjoyable because of the CGI and seeing these incredible mechanical robots like interact with the world, if it's destruction or just purely existing. It was so impressive.
Mm.
But then I got really disinterested once Shia LaBeouf kind of left, and I was just like, nothing's really hit that for me on that grand scale.
Yeah.
But once Godzilla came out, I was like, holy shit, they've done it. This is awesome. And just seeing, and you mentioned it, is seeing these monsters, because it's not just Godzilla or King Kong or Mothra. There's
Mm.
plethora of monsters that are on Earth, and just seeing how, okay, well, this creature's habitat is this specific area, and just seeing them work this. I think the season 2 of Monarch is looking at a sea creature.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm calling it Cthulhu because it's going into more cult-like storyline. And just seeing it
Okay.
briefly just swim into the ocean and Kong following it was just like, it just looks so natural. Not
Mm.
like you can tell it's CGI. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying it looks realistic,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
seeing just the interaction of these monsters, oh,
You
I
can
ate that
see
shit
the
up. I love
you
Cloverfield
yeah, you can
because of
see,
that.
yeah, you see Cloverfield is one of those films that it just worked, but I think it works because it's a one-off thing, and it does end so obscure as far as do they or don't they survive kind of deal. So you don't really know. So I
Yeah.
appreciate Cloverfield for that. And I almost thought that they were going to explore other avenues of it, but they never really kind of delved into it properly. It just felt like they were shoehorning various scripts and ideas into that universe to make it just seem tangential or something. I don't know. It was bizarre. Anyway, we are off tangent, so we're gonna flip
We
back
really.
to gaming. So
What
yes,
have
you've
you
been.
been doing this week?
All right. Well, I'll go through my list because I do have. Ooh, what just happened? I do have a massive list of games that I have gone through, mainly through the Steam Next Fest, because that's obviously running. I will talk about Marathon, but I think I'll leave that in the next, like after we play some Baldur's Gate. So, one small indie game that I played, it's called Lovish. It's it's apparently kind of inspired from what I've heard from some people from like your WarioWare. I'm just going to run it here on YouTube. It's not bad. Like, I don't think it's necessarily the greatest thing. You're essentially playing this little knight that's gone off with his 3 other friends to go save a princess. And he gets a little bit concerned that, these other 3 characters are going to, have the princess fall in love with one of them. So he essentially gets rid of them and he goes into the castle by himself. And so you're just doing these little interstitial runs, like these small little vignette runs of levels. And at the end of each level, while you're collecting some of the coins and whatnot, you get like this random little animation that happens. And it might be, hey, you lost a point of health because he fell down a well, or you gain a point of health because he found a potion, or he gets an item because he discovered something, or he finds some alternate thing which gives you a little mini game that you then have to run around. And it's like what's that zombie Castlevania rip-off game where it's like top-down view and you basically just move the character around and it plays itself.
Oh.
Trying to think of the damn name.
Zombie top-down.
Oh, I say zombies, but you're fighting different types of monsters. So you pick your character, and you're just running around on an isometric map in like a...
You're not talking about Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a Vampire Survivor. So you have stuff like that in this game. So yeah, it's kind of cutesy. It's nothing too spectacular. Bit of fun if you want more of your retro style video game. That one I just picked up on a whim. But as far as demos, because there's a few decent demos. So the first one I started was Super Meat Boy 3D. And first off, this game kind of it highlighted an issue that I was having with one of my older Xbox controllers, where the A button was just becoming so sticky playing this game. I essentially had to stop playing and change my controllers because it was getting a bit ridiculous as far as I'm trying to tell him to jump and he's not responding. And you really need to make sure that your timing on the platforming is like spot on. But as far as the gameplay, I mean, it's a 3D platformer through and through. Like it feels like it's more Super Meat Boy. You're running, you're jumping, you've got the ability to attach yourself to walls. You've got a dash ability now, which I don't know if the original had, at least not the first game. I never actually played number 2. And you're just trying to get through the level as quickly as possible, avoiding things like spikes and saw blades and whatnot in a 3-dimensional environment. It does a good job of giving you opportunities, as well as there being your bandages like in the original games that you can collect and find in the levels. It does a good job of giving you the kind of perfection route where sometimes you can go down what the designers have intended as the direct kind of path that you want to take. But if you're good and you can figure out how to take advantage of some of the obstacles or some of the objects in the environment, you can really kind of completely skip sections and get the best time, which is very much a Super Meat Boy style of gameplay. So that was a bit of fun. I didn't actually finish the demo because I was like, yep, I played a handful of levels. I know exactly what this is. I know how well it plays. It feels very tight. It's almost too tight. Like, I feel like just as far as the way the analog works, I feel like there should be a little bit more of a smoothness to it. It feels a little bit too like he's very straight directional in your like diagonals and whatnot. So you're kind of either going straight or it's almost like a hard diagonal. It doesn't necessarily feel like you've got this smoothness to the direction that you're moving him with the analog stick. So that was one of the demos I played. Let me just get rid of that so I at least keep an eye out. And that's being made by Slugfly and Team Meat Boy, just for anyone interested. Scott Pilgrim EX, I tried out.
Ooh.
I gotta admit, they've done a good job of kind of taking it from a feeling perspective to the next level. So it mechanically, it plays really well. I'm not 100% sold. Hey, how you doing, Impulsive? I'm not 100% sold on the kind of the world building type stuff, but it is very early on that I'm playing because it feels like you're kind of in a space and then you move out of that into what is like your hub world type of area into the next space. And you're just kind of going into these little vignette type worlds as opposed to feeling like you're exploring a level like you would in a traditional kind of brawler of this nature. But yeah, mechanically pretty solid. I only tried one of the characters, which was Scott, just to kind of see how it all functions and operates. You got the same general mechanics of you're collecting coins and stuff, which you can then spend at shops to level his abilities up or heal yourself or give yourself more special attack, whatnot. So the same, if you're familiar with the original games, it's the same type of game, just better, theoretically bigger, a bit more to it, a little bit more to the combat. It looks like there's some proper leveling up stuff to it, so it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together. By the way, if you have any questions, you can shoot them out. That's being made by Tribute Games Incorporated. The next one I played was Darwin's Project, which is being developed by ZDT Studios and obviously produced by Konami. Have you seen this one?
Darwin's Project.
This is the one where you play as a squid.
Man?
No, you play as a squid.
Oh, the Metal Gear Solid one. Yes.
Yeah. Which I did that part of the demo, which was pretty cool. I gotta admit, I'm actually really smitten with this game. I finished the whole demo and I was very satisfied with my whole experience. It does very much give you that sensation that you get from like your Inside Out, your Limbo, or even like Little Nightmares type of deal where you're exploring the space and you're using the squid's abilities. You start off just being able to stick to walls and kind of move around, and then later on you can camouflage yourself, and you use that to like stealthily try and get through areas while you've got guards kind of moving back and forth with their lights. So whenever they get close to turning around or are about to see you, you just like kind of duck and cover. But obviously if you're in the line of their movement, they will see you and just squash you. You use things like you've got a section where you're trying to avoid a seagull, so you're having to get into bits of cover, these little barrels and whatnot, or boxes that you just hide while he's like swooping past you and trying to eat you naturally. But then as you kind of progress through the game and you start unlocking a few other abilities, you get the ability to use your squid ink. So if you're in an area that's got cameras, you can release the ink and just watch all the black kind of cover the views of the camera so you can swim past. You can there's a sequence where they got like these two posts that you can just attach yourself to, and then you slingshot yourself up to ledges. So there's a lot of these really fun mechanics with your swimming, your general platforming, attaching yourself, using your cloaking device to avoid being seen and whatnot. Really fun game, really fun platformer. I can't wait to see what this is about and play through it, because it looks like there's the way they structure the puzzles are super fun. They're very rewarding. They're not brain busters of any kind of nature, but they're fun to try and figure out and go, okay, how do I get through this sequence? How do I maneuver this barrel so that I don't get seen by the camera? So you have like a shaft that you're swimming up with cameras on either side, and you've got a barrel that you're trying to carry, but you're having to, like, you're attaching yourself to one side of the barrel to not be seen by one camera on the left. And then as you swim past it, you then switch to and attach yourself to the other barrel, continue swimming up to avoid being seen by the camera on the right. So little things like that just make it fun and interesting as far as puzzle solving. So look out for this if you're into these kind of platformers that give you something to kind of scratch your head at and figure out. It's like, it screams like those old days of your Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, where you're just trying to figure out, how do I get through this little sequence to move on to the next type of scenarios. So that was lots of fun. I enjoyed that quite a lot. What was next?
I actually played a game demo.
Yeah, go for it.
That I forgot. Outbound, which is a very chill kind of game. It's a caravan, and
yes, I did see this.
You can build. So I played the demo of this, and it's had a few updates for its demo as well.
Nice.
And what I've played, I have thoroughly enjoyed. It is so relaxing. It doesn't feel very stressful, but just driving around, just this national park, unlocking different abilities. So the towers that you go to, you can choose one of three. I think eventually you can get them all. You just have to prioritize which one do you want to get now. And really fun, really enjoyable. I am tempted to go back now that it's been updated just to see
what they've added.
The game. Yeah. Really fun, because I really want to start building on the caravan just to see what absurdities I can get up to.
Yeah, fair.
But this, I think if people are looking for something very chill and relaxing and having that minimal survival, this is right up your alley. And it's got up to 4 people.
Oh, so it's got co-op. All right, awesome.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that single player first person camping game where you play as a ranger and you're talking to a chick from one. What was that?
Firewatch?
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Good memory. You're on point today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it kind of reminds me of that and Caravan Sandwich, just as far as the traveling aspect, which is a game I want to try. I started it, but I never actually finished it.
I also started that on the Switch. That
that
game
intro
is really interesting.
Yeah.
So Outbound does a really good job in making you understand that the caravan is the main character.
Yeah, fair.
You're giving stuff to the caravan to upgrade. Whenever you explore and need to unlock something, you need to go back to the caravan.
Right.
It's everything.
Yeah, like you build the whole house on top of it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's your mobile house. So you start off with just the inside. There's a bed in there. You can put a couple of benches.
A chair as well.
And a window too? Is that how it goes?
Is it a square window?
No, we're going through the arched window today.
Ah, right.
That was always my favorite window. And every time it was that one, I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
But
for anyone
really
not knowing
game.
the reference, it's Play School.
There's a bear in there.
and a chair as well. And then I seem to have the naughty version in my head, so I get stuck with that. And then with stories to tell, open wide, come inside. It's play school. But yeah, that's looking good. That does look good.
Yeah.
Another game that I played was I'll go through this one. Armatus, I think it's called. This is the third-person roguelite shooter. I'll be honest, it's okay. Yeah, it is in Paris. So you're essentially playing as some sort of like holy relic type warrior that's constantly being resurrected in order to save this Paris that's been manifested by demonic presence. So you're working for, I'm assuming, some sort of church because you've got all of these nuns and priests and stuff. I don't know why, but the black dude looks like Kane from Sin. I don't know if you ever played the first-person shooter Sin. That's I'm pulling from an old like 90s reference. But he looks like that. It's okay. You're essentially running around, again, third-person shooter, so you're shooting these enemies. You've got limits and like the recharge abilities on your grenades, certain abilities. For instance, like you can get slam attacks, or you can get certain other like unique abilities and whatnot that you uncover and unlock as you progress through. So you kind of do these small little vignette levels. Like it'll be a section of Paris that you will be fighting these enemies. You clear them out. There might be only 4 or 5 enemies that you have to clean out, and then you go into the next area, and you do that 2 or 3 times before you go through a portal. It gives you, say, a choice between what kind of power-up you want, as well as what you'd like to enhance, whether you want to enhance your guns damage or your abilities damage or something else. And you just kind of rinse and repeat until you get to the boss. I didn't get far enough into the game to get to the boss. I kind of got slaughtered at one point. So it does get hard. But I'll be honest, the third-person shooting as well as the locomotion of it, I don't find it entertaining, especially after playing something like Returnal, that this feels it's inspired by. I think Returnal does a better job of giving you the proper verticality and the push and pull with the enemies. Whereas this, with the abilities, like it feels like there's a few more tools at your disposal, but I don't feel like I'm as engaged or as like I'm not enjoying the general motion of the game. It feels a little too stiff at the moment. That may be something they tweak because it is a demo, but in its current state, I'm kind of like, it's an interesting world, it's an interesting premise. I'm not really feeling the sense of progression. So like when I'm upgrading the weapons, I don't feel like they're actually upgrading. Now, keep in mind that when you do actually finish a run, the game doesn't actually give you the ability to do the permanent upgrades to your character. For some reason, that was locked off. Why? I don't know. But there is apparently more permanent upgrades that you can add to the character to make him more enhanced and stronger. But just from your like general playthrough, I enhanced the weapon, the gun 3 times, and I feel like it was still like a little pea shooter, which was just a little bit disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. I think it's something to look forward to if you're into this kind of unique look. The tone seems interesting, but I feel like it needs a little bit more work and some tightening in some of the mechanics just to make it a little bit more enjoyable, at least to my palate. I'm sure other people will probably disagree. So that was one of the demos I played. Fuck, I played so many, man. It was ridiculous. I almost feel like I did too many.
I feel like I should play some. There's actually one that I think should be brought to attention. It is, let me find the name, Forbidden Solitaire. Have you seen this?
Forbidden Solitaire. I apparently don't know how to spell forbidden. Solitaire. I haven't heard of it.
It is incredible as to it's funny, I watched the Game Grumps play the demo. This game
What the
has
hell?
been
That's an
ripped
announcement.
right out of the 90s.
Yeah, it looks like it. Holy shit.
It is really, really interesting. So you're playing this game, and it's essentially a what was that old school game that you would go down different corridors and you can choose which path you wanted to go down? It has that element of going down a path. When you fight an enemy, you have to play solitaire, and you get different abilities. So you might get, oh, let's reshuffle the deck so then I can build up my combo so I can do a higher amount of damage. It's right on my list. I'm really intrigued by this.
It looks all right.
For a game that's coming out in 2026 and to master the look of a game from the 90s, fuck, that is incredible. Love.
Nice. Another game I played, Saint Slayer, which is being made... Saint Slayer Spear of Sacrilege, made by Lilimo Games. This is Colin Moriarty's video game company that he has kind of assisting and working with them on the side. He pretty much just focuses on the story aspects for the game. This is very much like a classic old school Castlevania, like before Symphony of the Night, with some subtle Scrooge McDuck references, because you do have a spear that you can kind of stab down. Really fun.
I was going to say Shovel Knight, but
that's also another option. They're small levels. Like, as far as what I can tell, it seems like it's going to play more like a traditional old school game where, depending on what difficulty you choose, will determine how many lives you started off with, how many enemies fill the screen. But they're essentially these small little levels that you kind of go through. Sometimes you'll be on a carriage. Sometimes, as you can see in the trailer, you're on like a little canoe. They're apparently adding co-op. How that operates, I don't know. But you can play with another player, which I think is pretty neat. There's some nice little surprises when you explore, because you will have moments where you can just... You'll have a door that you can actually go into and find little treasure chests or a monster or something that you can fight. Sections that you might be able to kind of quickly access. I believe the point at a certain section of the game is to go back. Like, you want to progress far enough so that you can unlock certain abilities to then go back to older levels. Because there's the spear ability that you get, you then unlock the maneuverability of platforming to higher areas, because then you'll be able to throw the spear onto a wall and it now acts as an actual platform for you to jump on and get to higher sections. So there was an item that I couldn't get in like the very first level that maybe there was a way to kind of fudge the enemies to land on them and get the distance, but just trying to jump over to the platform that I needed to get to this specific relic was just not working. But really cool. I think it's worth kind of checking it out and looking out for it. If you like this old school side-scroller platforming, what they seem to be cooking up here looks really fucking cool. And an interesting little story behind it, maybe? We'll see. It was only, I think, 4 or 5 levels that they had. What was funny was you get to the 5th level, and they make you play it for a bit before they go, okay, so now we're just going to take over, and we're just going to show you. That was the demo. We hope you enjoyed it. Please follow us and wish list it, as like everyone else does. I'm like, oh, that was a bit of a fuck you, but that was well done. I like that. So... that was kind of cool. This one, I was kind of skeptical on, and after playing it, it really just iterated something to me with a lot of these Unreal Unreal Engine games that are starting to feel a little bit on the slop side, that I'm kind of like, you guys, you do such a great job of utilizing your engine visually, but then when it comes to actually making the game, it's lacking something. So this one is called 1348 Ex Voto by Said Leo. You're essentially playing this female knight who's being trained by her father, disappointingly, or I don't know about disappointingly, but essentially not really being not pleasing her mother, that she's kind of getting into more of the sword fighting. I'm not quite familiar with the setting so far. Obviously medieval. She has a best friend, and I'm assuming potentially a lover, that is about to be sent to a covenant. So she's being taken into the nunnery because she's poor. Her parents can't really afford a suitor for her, so she's just being sent off. And the game essentially starts you off running back to the hometown that's burning and being destroyed by some, like, another faction or some invading force. What was really evident for me was just the lack of urgency in the game, because you start the game, you do the whole tutorial thing where it's her and her lover, they're kind of playing around in the field before the girlfriend kind of disappears. And then you then have control of the character when she's looking at her town being burned. And she's like, oh my God, I gotta quickly run back. And she does this really brisk jog, because that's as fast as you can go. If you don't hold the run button, then it's like those really paced jogs that old people do, where they're just kind of shuffling their feet, and it's just a little bit faster than a walk. So that's your normal speed. And then when you press shift, it's like, oh, now I'm running, but it's really just a jog. And then she goes over obstacles like, her life really depends on it, but I'm just going to take my time and get over while the place is fucking burning in the distance. So once you get past all of that introduction, and it's a long sequence that you're running through. And by running, it's like, So we're just going down this really gorgeous hill. Oh, look at the fire over there. Everything's burning. Yep. I'll just get down here. Here's a cutscene moment of the game where I have to press the shift button so I can climb underneath it. And then I keep running for some time. And then, here's a log just over, be on the yonder. I see it. I'm coming closer to it. Here we go. All right. Now I press the button where I jump over it really gracefully. Oh, yes. But it's okay, because the fucking place is burning down and my lover is going to die. So once you get through this sequence, you then actually get to experience some combat. And I think this is the next point that the game just slightly falls apart. It plays like a Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. It is literally just, we're going to put you one-on-one with an enemy, and you've really only got your standard attacks with a bunch of combos. You've got it's kind of cool, the ability to hold the weapon. So you're either just pressing the attack button. You can hold one button so that she's now holding the weapon with two hands instead of just one hand. So now she's got more focused attacks that are kind of more directed with the longsword. I don't know if it does more damage, but it does feel tighter to use in some aspect. And then you've got heavy attacks when you hold the actual attack button down and she does like your little jabs and whatnot. And then other than that, you pretty much just got a dodge and I think a block. But it is this one-on-one kind of ballet dance with the enemy. But you very quickly realize, I just keep plowing them with attacks, with standard attacks. And then when they go for an attack, I just press the dodge button and move to the left, provided I get the timing right, because they obviously track you if you do it too early. So you do it as the attack comes, you dodge, and you keep plowing them with the attacks. And that's it. And what's really fun is when you get into an encounter with multiple opponents, you would think that you would now have 2 or 3 opponents at you. No. You deal with the first one. You watch as the other 2 dance behind and go, oh, yeah. Once you've dealt with the first guy, then the second guy enters into combat. And then the third. And it's really this nice ballet. Everyone gets a turn. Everyone has a shot at dying. It's very cute. But it's just kind of meh compared to Senua. And like the other thing I find, so that first introduction, they need to tighten that. They either need to speed her up or they need to make the level smaller that you're running through it, because it doesn't need to take that long for me to get down the hill to where the actual game should really be beginning. And then the combat really needs to be a little bit more interesting and a little bit more engaging, because right now it's kind of just, I'm just pressing buttons, and I think Senua is a much better version of this style of combat, just from a visual aspect as well as a feel. So it's lacking a lot. There is some exploration. There appears to be things that you can pick up in the environment for some crafting. It's not even crafting. So this is what was fun. I died at one point, like I lost all my lives, but it actually was beneficial because I then started that checkpoint with full health. So I'd gotten up to this point with like 2 lives left because the game hadn't introduced the health system yet. I hadn't picked up any food in the game, which is considered like your health vials.
Okay.
And so when I get to this combat sequence, I die, and then I restart that same combat sequence, but instead of with 1 life left, I now start with 5 again. So I'm like, oh, well, I mean, if that's how you've designed the game, that's kind of a bit poor, but all right, cool, whatever. So now I can just go through, like, there's no concern for your safety. There's no real, like I said, urgency. There's no tension. You kind of just cut through a lot of these enemies like butter. Sometimes they've got some sense of a pushback from your attacks, but for the most part, it's like, there's not really much substance to it, which is a shame, because from that first introduction where you kind of get introduced to the characters, there seems to be some really cool directing and acting chops, as well as script writing. And I think that's what this game could sell itself on, that people will be invested with the characters and maybe the world building and what their general struggle is. But so far, if they don't tighten the combat, make that more interesting, there seems to be a skill tree type thing where you can find scrolls and improve your character. But it looks like it's going to be very basic. It's not going to be anything amazing. And I think it's mainly due to the fact that the combat design itself is very basic, which is kind of a shame. Because it feels like it could be a little bit better, and it feels like you could introduce a way to have multiple enemies that you're dodging and weaving between and trying to attack multiple. But it could be harder to manage the aiming side of it, as well as how the NPCs kind of interact with you. So we'll see. Again, it's a demo. I'm not 100% sold on the general experience, but the tone and the storytelling seems to be where they are striking a really good balance. So I guess if that's kind of your bread and butter, then yeah, keep your eye on it. So I've covered that. All right. The last two, yeah. Sorry, there's like so much.
No.
The last 2 I'll talk about, these are probably 2 of my favorites that I had. And so the first one I'll talk about, I think, is a smaller game. It's called Divium. This is a side-scroller platformer. Again, it doesn't seem to have, as far as I'm aware, because the demo really didn't have anything of that nature, it doesn't seem to have a Metroidvania feel to it. There seems to be a map that's suggesting it, but for the most part, it seems to be more of a linear structured kind of game. You've got your general jumping, platforming, attacking. But here's what's cool. Oh yeah, and then you've got dash abilities, so there's a few extra things that they're showing off here in the trailer that I've got. The combat, though, the feel of the combat fucking nails it. And it's when you play the demo itself is pretty basic with the kinds of enemies that they throw at you. They don't kind of go ballistic in any way with the amount of enemies they like just throw at you. Ostensibly, it's light attack, heavy attack with some magic. And the way the game works is you've got a block ability. You will essentially build your mana bar from how successful you are at your aggression in the game. So if you're attacking, you're building your mana bar a little bit. If you're defending and you're blocking, you're building your mana bar. And your mana is then used for, like, you can have 2 skills on you at once. So one of the first skills that you have early in the game is the ability to heal, so you can keep yourself healthy at any time. There's a little bit of a waiting period for the health. So, and it only gives you like one extra point of health. And at the start, you start off with like 6 little globes. But you can change these abilities at any point in time. You've also got runes that enhance your attacks. So you can add things like the chance of lightning hitting an enemy when you do certain actions, or have fireballs kind of hitting enemies, and all these other little fun things that either enhance your attack ability or your defensive ability or your survivability. And when you get into the flow of combat and the game starts to unlock some of the other specials, not only are you then playing with the magic system that you're using constantly, because of course the game is wanting to use magic. So you'll be like attack, 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 and you can juggle enemies. So if they are in a stunned position, you can essentially juggle them up into the air and keep them up there and like slam them back down, or use magic, or do all kinds of crazy fucking fun shit with them. The feel of the combat is just solid. Like, there's just this real kind of crunchiness when you're attacking enemies, and you feel like you're doing so much damage and just plowing through them. And so it becomes very evident early on when you're playing through the base game that you're like, oh, well, you're not giving me too many enemies, so this seems pretty easy. And you've got, of course, got this other meter that builds up. So when you build up this special meter on the side and you get her up to max, then she goes like Super Saiyan or like God of War style, where all of a sudden her attacks are enhanced, and you've got the ability to enhance or like add an extra special to the attack. So you can either increase your damage, or you can have like fireballs come out every time you attack. It's really fucking fun. For a platformer, these guys have done such a great job of just nailing the kind of crunchy feel to combat. And where it really shines is in the demo. They kind of give you've got the beginning of the game, which is very basic. You go through it, it's pretty quick. But then you've got it's kind of like an enemy rush type mode, or like a challenge mode, where they shove you in a little arena and they just go, okay, here are 3 stages, fight these enemies. And then once you fight those 3 stages worth of enemies, then through unlocking a few of the abilities and some extra resources, they put you into like the next room, which gives you another 3 and another 3 and another 3. And it kind of showcases the different types of monsters, the combinations, how you kind of position yourself, because different enemies will have different types of attacks. Some are obviously melee, some are distance, some will try and put area of effects in the areas that you're on, so that you have to dodge and weave and kind of move amongst them. And then you've got abilities that also work as a, hey, we're going to give you the ability to teleport and do an attack. So you've got all of these little ways that you can use your attacks, use your timings, play with your dodging or your defensive kind of blocking, which everything gets this sense of reward. When you do block, there is like this timed slow motion that happens. That's really fucking neat. Just comes together really well. So keep an eye on this. If you're into your side-scroller Metroidvania-like games, this one I think is really getting something right from a gameplay combat standpoint. Yeah, I think this is really cool. So that one was Divium by Sigil Games. The last one I played was Eternal Life of Goldman. Do you remember this one?
This is the old man.
Yes. This, I gotta admit, I was actually quite impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect from this, because I was a little bit skeptical on the... So, what I thought this game was going to be was more of a Metroidvania, and it's actually not.
Yeah.
It is more of a side-scroller from, like, your traditional sense, where it's you have a level and you just go from beginning to end with a boss battle at the end. It kind of reminds me, from a structure standpoint, it kind of reminds me of Rayman, where you do just have a general, you start here, you work your way through the level, and then you get to the end, and then that's the level done. And you can repeat the level, or you can just move on and go to the next section. You're playing as this old dude who's kind of, the story's being told by a mother to her son or daughter, I'm not quite sure. But the old dude seems to be this character that saved their village from something. But obviously he was there for some other intention, which we don't know. Maybe nefarious, maybe more vain and more intent on his own greed. We will find out when we play it.
Ooh,
but
mystery.
Yeah. The art style is amazing, though. It is really phenomenal. Just like all the kind of enemies that you fight and the spaces that you go through, the animations while the story's being told. It's the presentation here is just sensational. Gameplay-wise, you've essentially got his cane, and it seems like there's going to be upgrades that you collect as you progress through the story, because the cane's made up of 3 components. You have like the base of it, like the actual tip, the main shaft, and then the handle. And depending on what you like, and you can switch them on the go. You can actually either go into a menu and switch them manually, or you do have the little icon on the top left-hand corner where you can switch it with the D-pad by pressing left, up, or right. And so like for instance, you can change the shaft so that you can now, when he pogos, instead of just being a standard pogo, he'll pogo up higher. So it's got a better spring to it. And one of the upgrades I got for the handle was it starts off as like a standard handle, and then I get the hook, which is like the round half circle kind of standard cane handle, which you then use to latch onto things. So if you've got platforming that you need to hook onto rings, you need that specific handle equipped in order to go clink and then jump into the next little ring and the next ring. Or you use it, as you see in my gameplay, to pull onto enemies. So if they get stuck somewhere, you can pull their tail. Or if they've got like a little extremity that's sticking out, like there's a boss battle that you fight where you're using these platforms that every time you jump on them, they jump up higher, and the only way they go down is if you duck. And so you're dealing with this boss battle that's shooting these random heads at you that are just kind of coming, from the right-hand side of the screen to the left. So you're dodging and weaving, trying to move these platforms up and down. And then eventually the boss gets tired and he's got like this little thing that pops up from his chest, which you have to get to the platform closest to him, hit like the right level where the actual bit is on his chest, and then use the hook to pull it out. And that's how you do damage to the boss.
So there's an Zelda-esque style of boss battles.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, and like this is the thing. The game, when it shows off parts of the map like this, it's actually got your
It looks huge.
it like a Metroidvania. Yeah, but so this is what's fun, right? I didn't go through the whole demo because I played enough of it. I played like 3 levels and I'm like, this is a decent amount, and I can see you've actually put even more content in this. I'm going to stop because I think what you've sold me here is a really fucking solid game with a cool story, a cool premise, and some really neat mechanics that I don't want spoiled. Because one of the things you have, so you do have like this hub town that you go to, right? You're collecting money through the game. When you die, you do lose some of that money. So you're kind of incentivized to, when you finish a level, when you unlock your main little hut, you can go and dump the money into a chest that you then store. So far, from what I've seen, the money seems to only really be spent on certain little trinkets that you collect in the game. What they do, what they're for, I don't know. If they're just a standard collectible or if there's something deeper. You do have items in the game. You can collect fruit, which are used as your healing ability. And you can collect up to 3 in your pack. So if you need to heal, you can just pop a fruit. But the cool thing about the checkpointing system as far as the main difficulty is, if you die at a boss, you start with full health with whatever items you had at the beginning of that run. So if you haven't used any of the items up until the boss battle, awesome, you start with all of that maxed out, which is really neat. So it's fun. It's not meant to be stupidly challenging, but there is a level of challenge. There's some level of difficulty, which is neat. There's a preciseness to the platforming, which I can appreciate. But there are items that you find. So like one of the items I found in the world was a sheet of paper with a number on it. And when you go to your hut, there's a computer that you can access, and you put in this number that you find, and it gives you this little mini game where you have to memorize these 3 little points on a graph that you then have to trace and hit those 3 points that you can't see now. And then when you complete that, it then unlocks a whole nother area, like another map or like another location that you can travel to. And it happened to be a location that was part of the main mission, but I needed to go and complete 3 other tasks, get 3 other items so that I can then progress to this next stage. So yes, it looks like it's going to be a pretty robust game with a lot of variety. I would say that there's a decent variety just with the types of canes that you're playing with, because again, you can kind of switch them on the go. They're not necessarily, like, you can't switch them as you're platforming. It's designed to be stop, change what you need on the cane before you kind of progress. So it doesn't look like it's got that instant, okay, I'm switching from this cane to this type of cane, from this type of shaft to this type of head to this type of handle. It looks a little bit more thought out, where it is, okay, you change to what you need for this sequence, you go through, and then if you need to adjust something, you adjust as need.
Do you think that's something that is introduced later throughout the game, where the levels start to get a little bit more, okay, you've learnt throughout the game, now we're going to test you, almost like the end of Tomb Raider 1 with Atlantis? Do you think that's something where, okay, if you hold this, you can quick change a cane part?
It's possible, but but like, here's the thing. Most of those games, so like if you've played, I don't remember the name of the game, but there's one where you're like switching between your red and your blue as you're phasing through different attacks that are like of a similar color. No, it's not Portal. It's not Portal. It's something else. I think it was made by Ubisoft. but it doesn't have that instant response. And I think because of that, it means that if they do have any platforming elements that are designed to have you change on the go, they need to give you enough time to, say, go through the multiple different shafts or multiple different handles. Because if you've got, say, 4 or 5 of these things and you're having to switch on the fly, then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now it's attached. Now I can do the platforming sequence. So they need to allocate that time. It's not a quick, instant change where it's like, oh, as I'm jumping and I'm jumping from one thing to the next, I can quickly switch to cane number 3 or shaft number 2 or handle number 5. But we'll see. We'll see. So far, what I'm seeing, it is, you know what? So I was thinking about this. It is what I would want. What is that called? Fucking Cup Boy, Cuphead. Cuphead. Thank you. It's what I would expect Cuphead to play like if it actually had a proper, robust platforming single player experience as opposed to just boss rush mode.
Yeah. I feel like playing the Eternal Life of Goldman is what I expect other people experienced with Cuphead. That satisfaction of going through. For me, my Cuphead experience would be this.
Yeah, hands down.
I think this already looks so solid, and I'm tempted in downloading the demo. Well, actually, I have no risk of not downloading it and actually it's experiencing it. Yeah.
And there's, like I said, it's a robust demo. I stopped, I would say, halfway because they had started unlocking parts of the map that I'm like, okay, I probably have another 3 or 4 levels here, theoretically, maybe more, before you then decide to end the demo. I don't need to see more because I'm already sold. It's that good, and I'm pretty confident, unless the last bits of the game are a little bit shitty and maybe some of its design or boss battles, but I doubt it. I feel like they have, even just from what I've seen just there on the trailer, I'm like, yeah, I've got an idea on some of the fun little tools that they give you and the ways that they will then play with the platforming. So like I said, it does have kind of that Rayman experience where you're just going through the levels start to finish with a boss battle, typically at the end of each level. That's kind of along the lines of a Cuphead, but nowhere near as anal. I think that's the one thing with Cuphead. You can tell it's very much designed to be a difficult game. This feels like a far more approachable game. It's hard. It looks like it'll get harder. It looks like it'll get...
say this is more akin to Metroid?
I haven't really played much of Metroid. I would say no.
Okay.
No, not really. Yeah, not to that degree.
Because for me, Metroid and Zelda have this incredible way of, hey, we're giving you a tool, fucking use the tool in this moment so you can learn it. And I feel that your explanation of this game is you're given a hook attachment for the cane, so then you can start hooking onto things. So then the game is going to give you more of the use of using the hook. So then you can start going, right, hook. When I see these sort of things, I need to think of the hook.
I need to have that tool approach.
When you start unlocking new tools, then you go, okay, especially with the boss where you have to hook onto the chest. It's that sort of mentality of, okay, we're going to teach you. This boss isn't going to be very challenging. It's not, you might be punished because you're still learning the puzzle of the moment, but the hook is going to be the answer to the puzzle.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, okay, this is very akin to a Nintendo game where it's not going to offend your time, because I think Cuphead is a very masochist game.
Yep.
And to the point that it's even Super Meat Boy, where it's perfection. There are people that have perfected each boss and got all, I think, 5 stars in
Like the
a
perfect
boss
run.
fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, power to you, fucking awesome. I will never do that. Fuck that. That to me is a whole other level of skill that I just won't have. But looking at a game like this, it is something that would give me nostalgia of, oh, the game is teaching me this item and how I can use it in different moments to solve the puzzle to get to A, B, and C. Or this is the boss. I need to use this to get to that part of the weak spot to then do damage. I assume it's going to evolve as it goes deeper, because I don't know what other unlockables you'll have for the cane. And if there's more to the cane, if there's him that gets upgraded as well.
Yeah, like I don't know whether he necessarily gets upgrades. I think it is really just you're either collecting items as a way to help the townspeople, as a means to find more areas to unlock. But I would say the cane itself is the main crux of what you're upgrading. Everything
Okay,
is to
yeah.
do with upgrading that cane. There doesn't seem to be anything that's necessarily improving his health that I've seen. Maybe there are some extra little tidbits that they will show off later, but it is so yeah. Like I don't know if you're watching my screen, but so shit. No, I
Yes.
had it turned off.
It's currently you.
Yeah, it is currently me. But yeah, so you can see like you've got the head, the shaft, the base, and you just switch, and it tells you exactly what each one does. But on the top left corner, you've also got the cane that you just control with the D-pad, and there his little fruits that you've obviously got his standard health. So yeah, look, there might be some upgrades for him just to kind of give him a little bit more health in combat or in boss battles. The level of difficulty in this game, I have no idea what it's going to reach. It has the potential to be fucking insane. But what I played was very manageable, very fun, very rewarding. And just being respectful of my time, I think, was something I really just wanted to point out, which I know a lot of people probably feel a little bit disheartened by this need for games to be hard for the sake of hard, or challenging for the sake of challenging.
Thanks,
And
FromSoft.
yeah, I mean, it's FromSoft. It's a lot of these developers who have made their careers off these kind of challenging experiences. Ninja Team Ninja is probably another one. But
Yeah.
I think it's worth appreciating something that is just a good, solid platformer. You know, it's
modernizing an old school
yeah,
game style.
yeah,
And
with a really cool animation style where everything is hand drawn. It's just
this
the
this is
there
what
is
I'm talking about.
so much detail. There are things in the background that you see as well as in the foreground that you're like, fucking hell. You guys are like flexing your animation chops here.
The art team is phenomenal, but that's what I'm talking about with games, feeling something. Like last weekend when I was talking about the art style of things, the individuality of a game and feeling unique. Sure, there have been games in this style of animation, but there's also games that are made in stop motion. To me,
Yeah.
that is the time I want to spend playing a game. Sure, you can make things look real, but I look at real every day of my fucking life. We all do. Well, most of us do. This to me is so beautiful to look at. When Rayman Legends came out and it had that cartoon style, I was like, fuck yes, this is awesome. But this just everything, and you nailed absolutely the detail, the foreground, the background. There's so much happening, and it's so unique in its style that it just stands against so many other games that you go, oh my God, this is so distinct. What was that game made by the DreamWorks animated team? Sundred. That had a beautiful cartoon style. And it's games
that was done by the DreamWorks
that.
animation team.
Was that DreamWorks? There was
Sundred?
So
I know what you're talking about. This game was nuts. This was eldritch as fuck.
Yep.
But,
the good shit.
Yeah.
Give me eldritch any day.
I never finished this game, but Jesus Christ, does it get chaotic by the end? Whew. Whew. It's nuts. But yeah, look, it is unfortunate that sometimes people do look at these games and they go, yeah, but I want more. There's not enough, or I like the visual flair of the realism in games. And a lot of this stuff just goes over the top of people's heads because they just go, but it looks childish. It's like, okay, do you not have any childlike qualities to your life left? I don't know.
I think we have been so spoilt for the push in technology where we're trying to bring so much realism in a game that it almost takes away from, well, am I playing a video game, or are you just making something so real that it's just, that's the focus? You're just pushing tech.
Well, I mean, I'll use this game as an example because where is it? They just showed another trailer for this third-person third-person action game, essentially. And like, I admit it is fucking stunning. Like the tech flex in it is immaculate, but you do just kind of go, well, yeah, but now other than what you might have from a mechanic standpoint, if the mechanics aren't there, Samson's, if the mechanics aren't there, what are you really pulling me into? And this was the issue that I had with the 1348 game, where I'm like, yeah, the animation that you're putting here, even at the demo level, is really fucking cool. But then when I play it, it plays like ass. And if I'm going to spend $40 on your product, make it all shine. Like this game is coming out in April, apparently. Let me just turn down the volume. But like shut up. But like, again, visually stunning, amazing lighting, amazing kind of physics. But it looks like they're trying something with the mechanics to make it interesting, because at a certain point, the realism only takes you so far. It's getting easier and easier with the tools that Unreal offers to make stuff real. Mm-hmm. But if there's nothing there behind it, from a gameplay, like, this was cool. The ability to just hit a guy, and again, whether this happens in gameplay, I don't know. But the fact that they sat there and animated a guy breaking through the glass of a fridge, that's cool. And it's a small little detail.
Sleeping Dogs. We had that in Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, we did.
And the Yakuza games, as well as the Judgment games. Like that, don't get me wrong, it is cool. I love that attention to detail. But it's games like Goldman that has that unique, distinct look where it's like, yes, I'm playing a video game. And the art of it. I'm someone who really likes art. I'm very much the creative side of things.
I think that's where we get along from that perspective, because I think we both really love highlighting the craftsmanship of work that go into a creative product like that. as opposed to, well, we're just going to motion capture it, take a bunch of photos, and then render it into the tech. Not to say that that isn't a easy process. Of course it's hard. It's still a lot of work. You're taking multiple photos, and you need to have a lot of, like, a really advanced camera system that can capture all of those images in order to give you that lifelike footage. But it's not the same as someone who sat there and went, you know, what's the visual art style and what is the kind of visual language that I have coming through? What kind of colors am I using, and the mixture of colors that come together in order to bring this world to life or make it feel unique and awe-inspiring and eye-catching. So,
oh,
I mean,
I was mistaken. So when I said the DreamWorks animated team worked on Sundred, no, it was a former DreamWorks animator who worked on Ghost of a Tale.
Oh,
the mouse
yes. Yeah,
That's,
man.
Sorry, I got confused and I'm correcting myself.
Can I just say, I never finished that game, but I'm so heartbroken that he will probably never do a sequel by the sounds of it. Like, I don't think there's been any notion or any kind of news of him continuing in game design, so, which is a shame. Yeah. I think that game just kind of came and went, and it was just such a beautiful game. But speaking of mice games, this is another one worth looking into. I just forgot the name of it. Hella. Is this Hella? Yeah, Hella.
Is this cooperative?
Yes. You play as a mouse, or you play as multiple mice, that you can control this piece of string. And the stuff that you do with the string is fucking insane. So you can attach it, you can use it like little grapple hooks. What's cool is that if you've got like a third player, they can jump on the string and use it as a tightrope. But it's okay, because if you've only got two of you, you can make a copy of yourself. So you can like mirage yourself a second version. But yeah, it's really fucking neat for like an open world mouse game. They're doing some crazy shit. There's a really cool sequence that I swear it's like something out of Zelda. So you've got these little sacks, like this little frog backpack that he has that inflates and allows you to glide. But there's a sequence you'll see later on, and you can jump on them as well, or bounce. There's a sequence you'll see later on where they have the string attached between two rats who are then jumping off, but they've got another rat on top of the string who's balancing, while the other two are just floating across the landscape.
Oh.
It's really fucking neat. Like, this is the stuff that I really appreciate. Even though you're designing something that is using real life type of assets and building something from a realistic space, you're actually utilizing far cooler and more interesting design mechanics.
And they found a way to utilize co-op as a large mechanic, but being able to completely play this single player.
Yeah. Play it by yourself, play it with other people. Yeah, it's this bit. How fucking cool is that? How fucking cool is that? Let's just glide on by with a third mouse. It's just like, oh, tightrope. I am smitten with that. Really smitten. So, yes. I would highly recommend anyone who loves video games, who's interested in checking out what new things are available. Steam Fest currently running till I think it's the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. there's heaps there to play. There's heaps to try. There's even more that I've kind of looked at that I've just glossed over because I'm like, I don't have enough time, but I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to be really cool and fun and amazing. Jump on, play some demos, try some stuff, wishlist things that might tickle your fancy because you can never find more than enough ways to be inspired and kind of get a sense of refreshment from this medium that sometimes does kind of go through these unfortunate slogs that are just, we're just going to repeat the same design that has worked hundreds of times, and then you get some of these developers that go, yeah, we're going to use that classic design, but we're going to really spice it up and change it a bit. So, but yeah, that's all I've had to play. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we start some Baldur's Gate? I do have Marathon, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, yeah, that can be our podcast segment. What else? I should really lower the volume of the game. What else? I'm just going to quickly look at my Steam. Oh, I have finished Crisis Core.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, no, it wasn't kidding when it was like, are you ready to fight the boss?
Right.
It was quite funny. I thought, okay, it's going to be a challenge. Holy moly, I did not die once. I thrashed the boss. It was 2 phases and I thrashed it.
It's a bit more manageable.
Well, I think I was over leveled.
The fact that you can do that is fucking cool, though. That's kind of what annoys me with the Final Fantasy remake games. It is so well balanced that you don't have a sense of, oh, I can't overlevel now because you've actually designed the game properly. Well done. Thank you. But also, fuck you. Because what you should be doing is making it well designed for the optional stuff and then making the story content just, if I want to overlevel with the side content, then I can then go back to the main quest and go, oh, well, now I'm like trouncing this, as opposed to, no, we're going to make everything so perfectly designed that you're never going to feel overleveled or underleveled for anything. Well, you might feel underleveled if you've done nothing, but yeah. But no, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I actually cried.
Oh, cool.
It really got me, which took me by surprise because I was watching the cutscene and I was like, oh. And then I realized that I had a wet face and I was like, fuck, what is happening? Really good. And now I have a lot of questions regarding the remake because of the ending of Crisis Core. Because now I'm like, well, you've kind of alluded to something, but in no way in Remake or Rebirth have you addressed it. So what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just going to say Crisis Core was revoiced with the current voice actor for Cloud, Christensen.
Ah, nice.
That guy. So the story is canon to Remake and Rebirth, but no fucking nothing. So I'm really intrigued in what the fuck is going to happen in part 3 because there's a lot that they have to answer for.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much more we need to talk about this. We'll bring it up quickly. So apparently Sony is seemingly backing off from releasing exclusives on PC now, according to Jason Schreier. He's had a couple of mentions through some various channels, podcasts, whatnot, talking about the fact that they are starting to, apart from anything that's considered a live service type game, which Marathon up and coming is going to be that for them. It seems like a lot of their major exclusives are going to be predominantly Sony first party only. And along with that, there was some little side tangential news that came out about what's it called? Bluepoint, where apparently they had pitched a Bloodborne remake, which Sony said yes to, but FromSoft said no. And after that, they pitched some sort of Ghost of Tsushima spin-off and something based around a Shadow of Colossus game or within that universe, which again, both of those projects got rejected. So it seems like Sony...
me about this situation. If there just seems to be so much bullshit talk with Bloodborne from every single side, because we've had Sony say that they would be interested, FromSoft saying we would love to, but it's up to Sony. Bluepoint was always rumored to be working on a Bloodborne remake or a remaster. I don't know. So it just seems like everyone's just pointing a finger somewhere. And it's always, but it's them. They need to make the decision. Well, Sony knows that Bloodborne would make them money. It just, this repositioning that they're going through is biting them in the ass, and it's really fucking them over. I want Bloodborne to be remade just as much as the next fucking person. I would love it. Would I get a PS5 for it? I really don't think so, because forking out, $1,000 just to play one game on a console is not viable in the slightest.
No.
But
not for most people.
Correct. The finger pointing of who has the right to make Bloodborne, someone needs to fucking decide. It's almost a joke at this point, and I'm kind of over it. That was one of my topics about Sony moving away from PC. Good luck to them, considering that console prices are going to go up. Game prices are going up, I'm sure. I don't think it's a smart decision, but this is what I see as the pinnacle moment of Sony and their downfall.
I don't necessarily see it as their downfall, although it's an interesting move. And I do wonder whether they believe, especially now when there's probably so many people that are moving onto PC, maybe they're starting to feel threatened that they could potentially lose their own sales trajectories for a lot of their exclusives. Maybe they've got data to back that up, that, okay, well, now that that exists on PC, there's probably more people that are just willing to go on to a Steam front. Maybe they're looking at Steam as a potential competitor that they're just like, you know what? If they're getting into the console space, we're going to stick the fucking finger at them and not even give them an inch. So the real question will be, especially going forward over the next year or two, which I think Sony is in a better position compared to Steam, will the current state of the RAM shortages affect Sony to the point where it'll be so hard to even buy a system not just from a pricing perspective, because of course the price is going to go up, but also the availability.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, you want to make sure that you're getting your hardcore fans and anyone outside of that ecosystem into the ecosystem to begin with, so that you can get the full 20 or 30% markup. So it's back to everyone kind of fighting for their own little portion of the board, as it were, in hopes that they can keep that brand loyalty and relive those old days. I don't think that's necessarily the same Sony, but maybe this is the direction they feel they need to go, considering what they're seeing with Nintendo. And that's another aspect, because it's not like Nintendo's budging on their IPs, so they might be looking at Nintendo's side of the backyard and going, well, if these guys aren't budging, then why should we? If we're investing so heavily into our projects, we can be a little bit more selective as far as what we release on PC, so that, all right, something like Marathon comes along, we want that to be in as many people's hands as possible. But if we can try and also add more value to the PlayStation players, which they will probably do going forward, where we will probably see things like DLC or cosmetics get exclusivity on the PlayStation side of things compared to what you see on PC or Xbox or anywhere else.
I truly hate that. It sounds so just pathetic, really, because...
But why?
Because you're trying to get live service as your main income and then segregate your player base to just single player games on your consoles. Why the fuck does it matter? You're still going to get sales on PC. If you multi-platform, you're still getting money. They just want more. So they're releasing their... How many failed live service games have they got under their belt now?
Oh, quite a few now.
Right. What makes Marathon any different? And I'm sure we'll talk about it, because I have no interest in Bungie anymore. Destiny 2 kind of killed my interest.
Yeah, I get that. We can get into it right after this if you like, but I reckon Marathon's got some legs to it in an interesting way.
How long for, though?
That's
How long
entirely...
will it keep the interest of people?
Yeah. So now we're getting into the philosophical side of what's Bungie been like as a company. Because I think they always start with good intentions and then slowly fizzle off. And I think it's really up to them. And look, to be fair, everything that I heard from the community and from the fan base, yeah, there were some ups and downs, but for the most part, people got the beginning, middle, and end that they theoretically wanted for Destiny 2 and for Destiny in general. I unfortunately missed out on that because I just didn't have a group of 6 people that I could do a lot of those dungeons and get into the nitty-gritty of some of the storytelling, because so much of it was hidden behind, a fucking phone app that then kind of got not retconned, but kind of reinserted into the game in some weird way.
Retconned.
And then restructured. And now the game's just this weird live service that you can't even play the original content. So it's like jumping in now. You're jumping in, getting ready for all the new stuff that they're building up. But obviously it seems like most of their focus now from a development standpoint, from the major guys in there, seems to be on Marathon, the new project. And I think there is potential for there to be some interesting content and some interesting lore. And anyone who's a massive lore buff and been following Bungie for so long, I think they're going to get that fulfilled. Even if it's piecemealed, in a really fucking annoying way. And I mean, like, in a really bizarre seasonal way that is designed to keep you playing. Because it is, like, I will talk about it, and I will go into how all the lore bits are in there and how they're tied into the mechanics of what you're doing. And I think it's clever, but it also gets in the way if you just want a organic storytelling. But it's also a very clever business move because it means that as a player, you're engaged in doing this loop. And therefore you're engaged in whatever the long-term content that they're slowly going to fizzle out over time in telling whatever the story is. That may take them 2 years or 5 years, however long they feel like there's a tail to this.
Yeah. I need to see it to believe it.
Yep.
Because
that's fair. Look,
it's an interesting concept to have a PvP game have lore within it without it being this, oh, here's character A, he is buff and this is what he can do. That fine. But how long can it sustain itself and keep people invested without getting burnt out going, oh, this requires so much of my time that I don't have and I want to play something else that's going to deliver.
But Street Rat, you've been playing Pokemon for how long? And it's the exact same thing. And they keep giving you Pokemon that are exactly the same as the ones that have existed, bar some minor little tweaks.
But it's not live service.
No, that's true. But but it's a different business model. So instead of them going, here's the one base game, like a WoW, an MMO, and we're gonna keep giving you content either seasonally or give you small piecemeal stuff every month, and then we'll give you the big chunky shit once a year. Like, our team will work hard on this big project, and you're gonna get 30 plus or 60 plus or 100 plus hours every year, kind of. But we just make a new FIFA every fucking year and we tweak a couple of bits. In Pokemon's case, it's a brand new Pokemon game. We add a few new Pokemon and we'll change the battle system by going, now you're fighting 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3, or you can enlarge the Pokemon and that changes how they function. Or we'll have enhancements, or maybe one day they'll make it so that, all right, we can like tweak the status on them. So instead of them being a lightning type, they're now a water type.
The difference is, at least I'm getting a Pokemon game every 3 years. It's not a yearly release. Once I finish the game, it allows me to play other games. I don't have to spend, oh, I need to log in and make sure I get 30 headshots so I can then get this emblem so I can show off to everyone that I fucking play the game. None of that shit. I mean, I'm sure if I put time into the ZA Royale in Legends, I can unlock titles. But even then, that's all single player based as well.
Correct. But you're a different customer. That's
100%.
That's the thing, right? And I agree with you, because I'm exactly like, we're FromSoft fans. We're technically playing the exact same type of game with a new skin and a couple of tweaks, and we're all fucking throwing money at these guys to give us the exact same dogfight that's been slightly adjusted for the last 10 years.
Though,
there's a massive difference.
But it's your point is that you're you're getting quality. It's something you want more of.
Yep.
Because it is good and it delivers.
But
you can criticize it, but it is still giving you the satisfaction of a game that you want to spend time playing.
Yep.
And you're right. We're not the market for what live service provides. We're not that person.
No.
But when you've got a company like FromSoft who does, they recycle their assets, fucking do shortcuts, intelligent.
Yep.
I encourage them because it works. Sure.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring. They all play very similar. Bloodborne, Sekiro. They play a little bit differently, but they all follow the same formula. They reuse assets within all of their games. Do they feel repetitive? Sure. But you're not getting them. Oh, here's a seasonal pass. For 3 months, you will have access to Sekiro's past story, but you only have 3 months. Otherwise, fuck off. It's gone now. Oh, so I'll never get to experience that ever again. No,
it's the FOMO.
The game is delivered to you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. I hate that. I hate that. My time is fucking valuable. And it's not worth spending that time because it's expensive. I've got other shit that I want to do. There's so many other games. Like
100% agree.
The Goldman game. Watching that trailer on your stream.
You're excited.
Awesome.
You're excited.
It looks awesome.
Yep.
I don't want to do what I did with Destiny 2, which I didn't even finish the final expansion. I never got it. So I don't have the ending.
Yep.
And I just got hit. And I was like, why the fuck is this game asking me to check into work?
Yep.
Fit the criteria so that they can get the stats and go, oh, player 1,000 or 1,000,000.3456 is playing and getting all his achievements and participating in the PvP. Yeah, fuck off. I'm done. And I hate that Sony is pushing that only the live service will be available on multi-platforms. But single player, no. You need to fork out nearly $1,000 just to get a console. Then $110 to $120 to play the game on top of that. And if it's got
Australian
online
pricing.
functionality, make sure you subscribe. Fuck off.
To our service.
I'm done.
Yep. No. Look,
it's shit. I get it. But I appreciate that they did put some of their games onto PC. I messaged you and said, is Spider-Man 2 worth it?
Yeah.
If you like Spider-Man, get it. Sure. I tried to get through Miles Morales, and when I really thought about what you said, I was like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to play it. I think I'm good.
Oh my God. So, yeah, I will admit that Miles Morales it's a 1.5. At least with Spider-Man 2, it feels like a decent... I'm not going to say it's a massive jump, but you can see where the improvements are in certain aspects. But you are, at the core of it, you're playing another Spider-Man game. It operates the same way. The mechanics are pretty much the same. They've added a few extra little flares just so your traversal around the city is a little bit more spruced up.
You're meant to feel like you're someone else rather than you're Peter Parker.
Yeah, but you're also still kind of playing as Peter at points, and then there's other stuff in there as well,
in number
which
2.
is neat. Yeah.
Venom?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty adamant to be in the game.
Yeah. But it's fun playing as him, even if it is short-lived.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Such a cool character.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were theoretically supposed to get DLC for him, but that, I think, got canned or changed, or they've done something else. Who knows? Maybe they'll put that into whatever it may be, which is annoying because there's a story arc that happens in there. It's a bit of a spoiler, but it involves Carnage, and that gets left unanswered.
Oh.
And
What's
so
her name? Is it the female one?
no. That gets rectified. That's fine. No,
Okay.
they literally
Yep.
have Carnage in this, but it's his human form. And so what I'm assuming was supposed to happen, theoretically, what it should have been was a piece of DLC, just like what we had with the original Spider-Man, where they released the 3 DLC packs after the fact, telling this continuation of the story. And what I reckon should have happened was we either should have gotten something similar, or they just decided, no, we'll just do a Venom story arc and incorporate that Carnage character / story arc into that and finalize it in there. Whether we're still getting that or whether that's just been scrapped for Spider-Man 3, I don't know. So we might see that as a further continuation later on, or they're doing some like 2.5 version of a Spider-Man game. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe.
But
yeah,
it's
Sony.
and I get it. Like, I'm at the end of the day, your frustrations are the same ones that I have with Nintendo, where I look at Zelda and Mario and I go, I would love to play them. And I've got a Switch now, so I can go out and buy them. But normally, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy that system and go through the whole rigmarole just for 1 or 2 games. I can't justify it. So unfortunately, I have to miss out, or I have other means, which we won't speak about here. But suffice it to say, I make a conscious choice not to experience those titles and hear about them from yourself or online, from the internet, because it's just, where do I want to invest my time? And I think with something like a marathon or most of these live service games, yeah, it doesn't connect with us because we like stories. We like to play a variety of games. We don't want to be sinking our teeth into one title. And like you said, for us, it gets treated like a job. But for most of these people who jump in, for better or for worse, they enjoy jumping on because they're usually jumping on with their mates. It's like going and playing at the football club. And they jump on every night and they will play with their cousins, their friends, whatever it may be. And they'll go through and they'll do a run or a couple of runs because they're quick. You only spend 5 to 10 minutes going in, doing what you need to, grabbing some items, maybe killing some people. You might do that a couple of times in order to get the thing you want. Or, all right, you're having a bad night. You don't get the thing you need. Sort of, maybe not. Yeah, at least you had some fun. You got to shoot some bad guys, some enemies, some that were NPCs, some that were human. And you get that organic experience of chatting with people now live because, of course, they put in proximity chat. Not that it was really working, or at least people weren't utilizing it for some reason. This game is bizarre. But again, we'll talk about it later. Suffice it to say, your live service games, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, they are the money makers for a lot of people that are just happy playing that one game by themselves or with other people. And they're happy paying once and maybe just topping it up with some extra little cosmetics because, of course, that's all they want to play. And I see this with someone like Frank. He's the epitome of this, where all he wants to do is play a fun, easy shooter like a Call of Duty.
He did tell me today that he got a PlayStation and he's playing COD. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. And he's like, I'm not very good, but
no, but
everyone is like killing me, but I'm still having fun. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And especially a man who's recently retired.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Like, perfect.
Yep. And he will
I don't want to discourage the idea of playing live services, but when you've got large companies, hey buddy, large companies that are focusing so much on, well, let's try and extort as much money as we can, even though our console and services are already at a premium.
Yep.
It kind of just feels like a fuck you. And it's
Yeah.
such a saturated market.
Yeah.
There is so many. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's more, you got to look at it from the big picture, right? Because if they don't have something that's perpetually building them some sort of money for the investor's perspective, then the investor pulls out, and now they're at risk of having to downsize, which means they don't have the funds, the playing fund, the funds basically to play around and, you know, have money for Naughty Dog's next title or the current title that they're working on, or have the correct funds and the support that they need for the next Sucker Punch game or Santa Monica or whoever it may be. So for them, it's about making sure that they have enough capital coming in and growing so that they can continue funding the games that they know are theoretically going to pull in some form of interest. And then now, obviously, them infusing a lot of their IPs into TV, they're hoping to build that brand recognition and build brand awareness. But you got to also look at it from the perspective that if they don't grow, if they don't have some like increased revenue from their games, which, let's face it, live service is where it's at for a lot of the money making because it's cheap and easy. It's not easy. It's cheap. Once you get a loyal fan base and they're playing and they're spending every day jumping on because they enjoy the general flow of the game, then it's easy to maintain for what is theoretically a large return on your investment versus the investment that you spend upfront on a single player title like a Spider-Man, and you maybe only get 5 or 2% in profits plus what you had, you know, get back on what you earned or what you spent. And the other worrying aspect of that is if you're not kind of growing or you don't have that capital to even play with, you're also at risk of being bought out by another bigger company. Because if the shareholders turn around and say, well, Sony, you're not quite doing what you want, but oh, Microsoft is willing to buy you. Yeah, okay, there might be some courts that'll get involved and say, well, there's some antitrust issues there. Might not be Microsoft, it might be some Saudi government, or it might be someone else. Depends where the money's coming from. And who's got the largest amount to potentially give or buy. And you don't want those kind of hands coming in, enticing investors about, oh yeah, if you let me buy the company and take control, now I'll fix it. And by fix, it'll be, no, I'm going to pull it apart and sell it for pieces. I mean, that's what Ubisoft has been paranoid about for God knows how long. And they've been trying to fight off. So, yeah, we don't like it, but it's kind of their only choice at trying to stay alive. And especially now when there's been so much, and I think this is why Sony is kind of pulling back a little on the openness of their games, releasing it on multi-platforms. Because when you've got so much money that's been pulled out of the gaming sector for AI, which we've spoken about countless times, you now don't have the same amount of funds floating around this industry. So there's less investment in a lot of titles. There's less investment in a lot of the projects. And there's also, theoretically, if people aren't doing well from a a job market perspective, there's less funds for people to spend money on these kind of frivolous experiences. And like you said, $1,000, okay, in Sony's head, from a business mindset, now that they've seen Steam play their hand with not just the Steam Deck, but also the Steam machine, they can see the competitor, the up-and-coming guys, which they're technically still small in the majority. But they also know that at the end of the day, they're still a threat. And they've got Nintendo on the other side. Microsoft is going for something else. We also don't know which direction they're going to go with the new head of their studio. So that's kind of a weird conundrum. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're looking at their backyard and going, well, we've got these studios that are making these high-quality titles that were also making multimedia projects and releasing this as movies. Why are we not keeping this? Why are we not making this our own? And we try and entice the customer from a sales perspective so that when you go to the shop, like little Susie is watching TV, theoretically, however, like on YouTube, whatever, however they choose to market this, as hard as they fucking push. And they go, okay, you've got theoretically Netflix or Apple, some sort of subscription. If we don't get you via our general advertising campaigns that we are running throughout various channels, then hopefully if you're someone who likes watching movies, maybe we'll get you through the movie market or the TV market. And you'll be like, oh wait, that's based off another product. Oh, it's on the system and it only exists on the system. Well, if I'm going out and buying a system for the first time, now I'm having to weigh up my options based on what exclusives I have. So Nintendo have played this card and they've played to their strengths for a long time. So they know if we start them young, we can keep them for a long time. And I think they've done really well in solidifying that. That is where Sony could have had that, but they fucking threw that away in the PS1 era. And they went full adult because they were lucky with the DVD. And by the PS3, their system didn't really have anything for kids except for Ratchet and Clank. But no one was willing to spend $1,000 on one system just to play Blu-rays.
Yep.
So you might be right. They might be in the same bag where they'll be kind of shooting themselves in the foot, and no one's going to be willing, especially in the current market, and if the cost of RAM goes up and they have to increase the price, they better hope that whatever shit they start releasing is going to be enticing enough for people to want to even invest in the console. And here's another aspect. If they know that they have some sort of exclusive rights or they've got some exclusive advertising with Rockstar, fuck me, they've just won. Because they can, aside from Nintendo, who maybe could walk up to Rockstar and say, look, I know it's going to take you a while, but can you figure out a way to get this fucking game on the system? But right now, Rockstar is looking at the big boys. They're looking at your Xbox and they're looking at PlayStation. Because they know that's a guarantee. And they're making a game for a high-end system. They're not going to sit there, unless Nintendo's paid them, on the side, and they're going, yeah, we can kind of squeeze this and we can get, sales from 3 systems that are existing. But at the end of the day, they're going to look at whoever's got the biggest market share. And right now, Sony's it. And that in itself, Sony's probably trying to position itself where they're like, well, if we got GTA coming out at the end of the year and it's coming up to Christmas and we've got something like Marvel and we're making sure that we're getting these very highly sought out exclusives on our system, then we make our our premium product, like an Apple, like wanted by the consumers. So yes, it's annoying for someone who doesn't want to spend $1,000 and would like it to just be on PC like everything else, and we can all live in hunky-dory land and sing kumbaya when we hold our hands together. But they're running a business. They want to keep themselves afloat. And if they can get as much of the money, they know that they're not going to get all of it. And they are, I think, aware enough that there are people like yourself, like Jason, that just go, I'm not spending the money. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to spend the money. We don't need you to spend the money now. We want the people that are committed to spend the money, because we know once we've got them in our ecosystem and we start showing them the other titles we have and some of the sales we have and some of the other services, hopefully we can entice you to start spending enough time and building an association with this brand and wanting to spend more. They want the long-term fan, but they need to build them somehow. They need to entice them. So you get them into the door by giving them a handful of products that you can only get there. It's like you buy an Apple to have an Apple experience, because you won't get that on a micro. You can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's why people go and buy Apple, because they know when I buy an Apple, I know the ecosystem I'm buying into. I know that everything works. I know when I buy my AirPods, I just flip them up and my phone is going to recognize it and it's going to connect seamlessly without thinking, without any consideration. And Samsung have done that themselves. It just doesn't have the same association for most people unless you have a Samsung and have those products. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make, like, as annoying as it is, they are building their little castle, just like Nintendo has. And they're going, hey, we know that Nintendo has Mario. They've got Zelda. They got Metroid. No one cares about Metroid, but, you know, they're there. And Pokemon. We've got these premium titles. We've got Wolverine coming. We've got Spider-Man. We've got God of War. We've got Uncharted. Not that, you know, that's really come out of the woodwork for God knows how long. And then theoretically, they're hoping that with things like Marathon and stuff, that just opens up a little bit more of the money that's coming through. Because again, it's a live service. So if you've got more people playing it, there's more justification to keep those servers alive. It's tough. My issue with Sony right now is they, apart from Astrobot, they don't have a lot that's necessarily drawing in more of the younger audience. Because you look at majority of their first party stuff, it's all MA15. I was actually admiring the fact that most of the like high-end games, the high quality AAA games I've got, they're like MA15s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nothing that's really designed for kids. This is why Nintendo's just solidified themselves amongst the general audience. I have a kid. What system am I going to buy? Well, Mario, because look how cute the character is. He's like, you know, fluffy and beautiful and huggable, and there's nothing dangerous about him. It's Disney-fied. That was disgusting. So, yeah. It's going to be a tough couple of years. It'll be interesting to see what direction Sony takes. The Bluepoint thing, it's sad, but I think I can recognize the fact that, for better or for worse, there was nothing that they could offer that I think Sony was actually interested in, that they already had money in other projects being made. I will agree that some of the statements with some of the other teams that Sony has in the company, I probably would have gotten rid of them over Bluepoint, but maybe they're working on something that Sony is like, no, you guys focus on that, get that done. That seems like a decent project. That's probably cheaper to make than what Bluepoint would cost them to remake FromSoft, which I can honestly say maybe FromSoft themselves have decided, even if they haven't, it would be reasonable enough to assume in their very Japanese way, they said thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah. And I would rather Bluepoint not touch Bloodborne. I would rather them just stay well the fuck away. But why would Sony purchase Bluepoint just to then close them down?
Yeah, and it is unfortunate. You just gotta wonder, well, because they probably assumed that they were going to have other projects working with them. And we also don't know the level of, like, you gotta give them credit in one aspect. A lot of their teams have a lot of independence. At least the ones that have been successful all these years and have done relatively well. Who's to say? Because we had this with Sly Cooper. Like, I heard that when Sly 4 came out, Sucker Punch was like, what the fuck? No, we don't want you to ever make another game. And that was supposed to continue with, what was it, Sanzaru?
Yeah.
So they were supposed to make a 5th game to continue that saga. But Sucker Punch stepped in and went, no. So you gotta wonder how much sway the original heads have in even another team attempting to make a remake. Like the fact that Santa Monica, of all teams, who've been working on nothing but God of War and have pushed the story forward, they themselves are the ones that have chosen to shepherd the remasters. No one else, them. Like, what level of ego does a studio have to go, nah, we don't trust anyone else to do it. We'll do it ourselves. Thank you very much. So by that point, why do you need a remake studio if no one else wants you to remake stuff for them? I'm honestly surprised that maybe this was in the talks, but I'm honestly surprised that Bluepoint didn't ask Sony to go, can we find a way to remake Ape Escape? Because I think that would be fucking perfect. But
ooh.
And then now you're getting into the kids space. And now you're making it interesting for the young generation.
Start remaking the old PlayStation 1 games into modern remakes.
Yeah, but again, you got to make sure that the original studio heads of those games would approve it.
Of course.
So, it sucks. I don't necessarily agree, just like you don't, but this is the direction they're going. It'll either be successful for them or it won't. And I think it comes down to whether their very specific exclusive IPs will have enough cultural and emotional resonance for this climate of consumer to buy in to their tech if they haven't already. Because I have. I bought into the PS5 until they have a PS6. I'm good. I'm ready to go for whatever they shoot. But I'm also realistic about the fact that I have a PC. I'm predominantly a PC player. So something like Crimson Desert, even though I know there's some exclusive tech that's available on the PS5 Pro, I'm going to be buying that on PC. Same with James Bond. Same with anything that I can get from a third-party perspective. But I know things like Saros and Wolverine, yeah, I'll be picking them up on PlayStation because that's the only place I can pick them up.
Yeah.
I picked up Death Stranding, a game that I somehow knew was going to be released on PC, that is actually getting a PC release. I picked up on PlayStation because I'm like, well, I can wait a couple of months, 6 months, technically more, 8, 10, almost 12 actually, or I just play the game when it's out because it's already on the system and I want to play it. So go and buy it.
So it's we've had this discussion, but you get the console for the exclusives, and you're right. If Sony can release a substantial line of exclusivity, sure, you're gonna have people get onto console. The only way you're gonna be playing GTA 6 is if you've got a console. Either an Xbox or a PlayStation, because it ain't coming out on PC for a while.
Nope.
Probably 12 months. So 2028, 2029.
And Nintendo's kind of the unknown at this stage.
Yeah, I'm gonna rule out the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come at all. But I could be completely wrong because they've got Resident Evil on the Switch 2.
And Indiana Jones, like I never sat there and thought, oh yeah, Microsoft is going to go out of their way to release Indiana Jones on the Switch. Wait, what?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But when I talk about, or when I say that this is the downfall of Sony, it's the downfall of this premium brand. Sony hasn't been pumping out good films, so their film sector is fucked.
Yes.
Look at all the Spider-Man spin-off films. None of them have been good unless Disney Marvel has been involved, or if it's the animated film. Those have been successful. Probably not to the standard that they want because it's really expensive to make animation films, and I get that. So I think they're really struggling, and I don't think they're going to be on top as what they used to be, and we're seeing that happen, especially with the change in management. And you're right. Live service is a viable income for long term, but unfortunately, it has failed them time and time and time and time again. None of their live services have lasted that long for them to even get money. They're spending more money to hire the team, market, build the game, just to then cancel it.
Yeah.
Is it a tax write-off? Probably.
Yeah, at this point,
and that's
it would be.
what it most likely is. But if they are having this push to have multi-platform releases for their games because they knew that the PC market was a viable market, even seeing that the Steam Machine's tech isn't that high end, you don't need a Steam Machine. You can custom build a PC. People will probably buy a Steam Machine either out of novelty or affordability. Instead of building a huge machine that runs everything, they'll probably just go for a Steam Machine because, hey, that's a good entry point and I can play games at a substantial level. I won't have many issues.
This is kind of I just to interject there. This is kind of the interesting thing with Steam because I know why. So like the handheld is a perfect example. I know why they're doing it, and I think it's clever, but I also don't know whether they have quite figured out perfectly the ideal kind of scenario of the console-like experience that you get from a Nintendo, from an Xbox, or a PlayStation. Because there is something about those systems that you buy, you set it up, and then you just buy what you want on the store. But the problem with Steam right now, for the large portion, is there are games on there that specify that they're not Steam Deck compatible. Yet, I can turn it on and I can play it from start to finish with no issues. Just because they haven't done the legwork to make sure that everything actually has the proper tick and approval and works. And then there are things, like I've mentioned before, like Darksiders 1, that have the tick of approval. Yet, for me to run it properly, I need to go and jump through all these hoops and custom write a script for one of the fucking files just so I can have cutscenes play and just so I don't have the game crash on me, as well as have the controls work. That for me is not a solid selling point, because if you're selling something to a customer, right, that is sold on the proviso that, oh, this kind of functions like a console, awesome, so I buy a Steam machine, I don't need to go through the head fuckery that is the PC side. So someone like Colin Moriarty, because he points this out heaps of times, he buys a PC, but then he's got to sit there and config, all right, well, I just want to install the game and run it. But I've got to run this, and it's got to do all this rendering bullshit, and then it's got to do this, and it's got to do that. No. With a console, you install it, you press play, and you're off to the races. There's no, I got to set this up, I got to play with the settings, make sure that the frame rate's right. No, it does it. It's all automatic because it's been done from the developer end. If done correctly, it's fantastic. And it just smooths out the whole experience without a consumer sitting there going, well, fuck, I got to go to YouTube or I got to go to ProtonDB to figure out what settings are best for this game to run at a smooth frame rate. And then I got to go into my Steam Deck settings and adjust the TDP so that the power output is correct and I'm getting the right frame rates and all of this. And it's like, just to play one fucking game. And by that point, you've lost the consumer where they're like, but I just want to turn it on and play. This is why Apple is so successful, because it was for a long time until your Android kind of caught up. You pressed what you wanted to download and then it played. And it's been the same with Nintendo. It's been the same with Xbox. It's been the same with PlayStation. There's just something about the console experience that is superior from an pick up and use. For the most part. It's not always 100%. Because you can always find little flaws or little things that need tweaking. I mean, how long did it take Nintendo to get their network and their kind of share system working to where it is now? It's a lot better now. But when it first started, it was a little... But overall, at least you knew that when I purchased a game and I chucked in the cartridge, off I go, I play the game. Steam isn't quite there. It wants to be. You can see that they're working towards it, and the community is helping them foster that, which is great. And I think it's wonderful that you've got all of this support, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the community forums, all of that's there. But I also feel like it's too much. No one's going to sit there and look at, like, now Steam's talking about introducing the system specs of people's reviews. So that when you're reading reviews, it's like, oh, I've got these specs. And then this person writes a review. I've got these specs. This is beta tested. That's great for someone who wants informative data where they go, okay, well, I'm going to be playing this game based on this person's specifications, because of course PCs are fucking wild beasts. I know roughly what kind of experience I'm probably going to get. But someone who's just like my mother picking up a Steam Deck, she's going to be like, how do I just get this to run? What do you mean I have to run what? I need to run a Proton version what? to get this to run? Can I just play Diablo for Christ's sake? No, sorry, Mom, because it's trying to run off this old architecture and it needs to like convert it and emulate it. You've lost me, son. What is going on? Like, it's, yeah. That's the fan, that's the consumer that they're having to sell to. And Steam is in this weird ballpark. That on top of the fact that they don't have as much rep within the manufacturing side of things. They're not selling the same amount as what Microsoft, Nintendo, and PlayStation are. They're not going to get the same quantities of the fabs that they need. Which is an unfortunate reality. Yeah.
It's an interesting development for Steam. And I think it is bold of them to go into this venture of hardware and not so much software.
And they're trying, you know what? I give them credit for trying. I give them credit for continually iterating. They're seeing the market,
Yeah.
they're seeing where they can grow, and they are seeing how they can grow. And I think the approach is really good. It's just going to take them a while to get there. And it's like big picture mode is that start of, hey, here's a console-like experience. It loads up. You've got your storefront. You buy your games. You download what you want. You play. And it's meant to be simple. And I think within that, there should be a layer that is almost like, here's your simple mode, but if you want the advanced mode, here are your forums, here are your control, different schematics and things that people have created, your walkthroughs, this, that. Like, I think it is open for so much potential, but it's just going to take time to get there. Because there's a lot that they need to work out. But it all starts with making sure that the user experience is as simple from the moment you pick up the system to the moment you just start playing the game. There needs to be as little resistance and interference between that. Because the moment you start creating various levels of resistance, that's when people pull away and they go for something else. Because not everyone's got the patience to deal with bullshit like we do. We're used to it. We've been doing it all this time. Man, I've been having issues with Steam and like Liza P. It seems like every time I go to jump on to Liza P, my controller, my Xbox controller, just doesn't want to connect with it. Like it connects, but then it doesn't pick up the controls. And I'm having to like either shut down the PC or shut down Steam and restart the game for it to then go, oh yeah, now I picked up the controls now. What the fuck that's about, I don't know. Is that a Windows issue? Is that a Steam issue? Is that just some other application in the back end that's fucking conflicting? Who the fuck knows? Yeah.
It's odd.
It's very odd.
I've been using a Switch 2 Pro controller to play Liza
That
P.
thing
and
is
holy
nice.
fuck.
That thing is, I tried one of those. So, yeah, I got, when I was picking up something from Target recently for Kate, for the baby, and they had a little screen there, like the Nintendo setup, the Switch 2, and they had the Pro controller, the one that you're talking about, and I picked it up, I'm like, fuck, this is nice. Like the analogs feel solid, all the buttons like click the way you expect them to. Such a nice control. And I played a little bit of the new Metroid, that was fun. Just the intro.
Yep.
I don't know why people are fussing it. Like it's like, okay, it's more Metroid.
Oh, because it's a woman and God forbid
Whatever.
you have someone talk to you while you're playing a game.
How dare you?
Oh, this NPC is so annoying. They keep talking to me. Not really.
No, it's fine if you're playing as a woman as long as they got big boobs, like the original Lara. The new Lara, not quite selling it. Bigger boobs. I want juggly physics, bouncing. Even though you
Play
never
Dead or
see them because
Alive.
you're always staring at her back anyway. Like, fuck. But you can turn the camera around.
No,
Just
the
go
best is when you
fucking watch
crawl,
porn.
because
Oh my
then
God.
it just zooms into her butt, and it's like, okay, I get
No,
what
you
you're
see,
doing here.
when you said crawl, I'm just picturing like her poor breasts just being so smushed into the ground as she's like
Oh
going
my
under the rock.
god.
And they're like being pulled and dragged by the rocks underneath that they're now bleeding out. And one of them goes,
Oh my god. Jesus.
she's like finally gotten out, and you realize like, oh, one boob's like flat and the other one's like nice and massive and perky. And it's like, oh. Okay. No.
It's wild. Wild.
Why, thank
Oh
you.
my god.
Thank you. Shall we get into the next newsy bit?
Yes.
Do we want to hit on Nintendo? Because that'll be the big one for you.
Nintendo would be big. I've got a couple of small ones that I can
Alright.
quickly go through.
Okay, check one out.
Lego Batman trailer.
Oh my god! I had that. Oh, sweet. I'm knocking that out. That looks dope. That was the coolest fucking trailer. Just seeing them redo the 1989 Batman.
Yep.
With the Prince music. To die for. Oh my god. Guys, anyone out there, check it. I will play it. I'm going to not have the actual fucking music playing. But it is such a cool recreation of that sequence.
Yep. 100%.
No, like
I wrote that in my notes. I was like,
Yeah.
very faithful to the movie reference. Looking forward to seeing more of the game, because if it's more of that, then you know your source material. Absolutely fucking go for it.
everything I've heard, it's like they're doing their own open world and their own kind of story, but they're just pulling from all the original material from every single one of these movies / maybe TV shows / something else. I don't know. I would say there's going to be a mixture of things in there. And seeing this, I'm like, I know exactly what you're going for. And I think you're nailing it. You're spot on. You're not trying to recreate necessarily the various movies in their entirety. No, we're just telling our own story, but kind of just pulling what we think are like the highlights from all of these movies.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to a Lego game that I haven't been excited to play in a very long time. Star Wars really burnt me out.
Yeah, that was such a disappointment. You know, it's so fucking funny because the last Star Wars one that they did, like when they did the original sixology, like the Luke saga, or the Skywalker saga as they called it, they nailed it. But they nailed it for the kind of design philosophy that they had, where it's like, all right, we're going to tell these in their entirety, level by level. But what was unique about it was they actually had very specific storytelling within their gameplay. So they fleshed it out. And it's like when they did the remake or the newer version of it, they didn't flesh any of that out. And so it was literally they just did the movies scene for scenes. And you had no gameplay within it. I was like, what are you guys doing? You got to put some effort into this. Like if I'm playing within this time period, give me more to do in this time period. You've got so much leg room now. And they didn't. So it's all good. we got what we got. This looks like it's going to be better. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not necessarily going to buy it day one. Probably pick it up on
I'm not
sale.
buying it day one.
But I'm excited by it. And I think it looks really fucking cool. Like everything I've seen. There's even some like proper gameplay. Recent gameplay
from 2 days ago. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's stuff coming out. There's stuff coming out.
Oh, I'm gonna have to have a watch of that because I thought it was just the trailer. But this, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's nice to have Batman back in the focus.
All right, I'll throw another small one in at us. Mouse P.I. Has been delayed till April 16th for some more polish. Is that what we're led to believe, or did you kind of read the tea leaves like I mentioned the other week? That, we know we're a different game, but releasing it on the same day as Crimson Desert, that's got so many fans so excited, is probably not a good idea. So I think it's great. I think that, honestly, from a business perspective, they made the right choice. If they're doing it legitimately for improving the game, great, wonderful. But let's be realistic here. I think what they're actually doing is saving themselves the heartache of releasing in a time frame that most people are excited about something else. Most people.
Yeah. I have been trying to get insider information, but no avail.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. That's okay.
Which I think you are more on the money. I think it is the competitive release date. Yeah.
I wish that people had more like of an open eye to kind of go, they're two very different games. One I can probably knock out on a weekend or two, or just, play casually, have a bit of fun. The other one I will probably spend more time with. But that's not necessarily how people operate. They're usually going to look at one title or another, and if they're similar in pricing, which again, we haven't seen the pricing on Mouse PI, but I feel like it's going to be anywhere between the 40 to 60 mark. Like, it looks like a decent quality game, and I feel like it earns that space. Whether consumers feel that, that's to be determined. And they probably just feel, look, from a business decision, why put ourselves at, the mercy of another big title?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point taking a chance on it. And if we can polish the game and add a little bit more quality to it, rough out some of the edges, that just helps us in general when it gets released. So it's a win-win to some degree. It just means that they're spending a bit more money working on the game without making any of that profit back. So, but yeah, it's a couple of weeks. I think it's a couple of weeks, probably more than that.
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
A month, if that.
It's not that bad.
Nah. And it just means that April has a large game that's coming out.
Yep. So, nice and easy. Are you interested in Resident Evil Requiem?
It is on my list.
Oh, cool. Did you want to talk about it?
I have watched several types of reviews, gameplay. Good on them for delving into two genres that they go for and putting it into one game.
Yep.
It looks enjoyable. It looks like a very solid entry to the game. But I feel that it is quite messy now with the story.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that could be said about most of them, to be honest. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Holy shit!
The story is...
Someone's already got like a full gameplay walkthrough uncensored. Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
100%.
Oh man,
Absolutely.
9.5 hours, is that all? I'm paying $130. No, I'm exaggerating here, but you know. Actually, how much is it? Let's have a look.
I just have this weird
107. Jesus.
idea that in my head, you've rebooted the story with Ethan Winters in 7 and 8, introduce his daughter in 8, to then have 9 be a whole new character, but then needing to rely on bringing back Leon for that interest, even though we had Chris in 8 and I think 7. He was in 7. It's just story-wise very interesting, but I think they've pulled it off. I would be very surprised if they didn't announce a Ada Wong DLC. I think it's an imminent kind of thing to happen for this game. Yeah. But what are your thoughts? Because I think it's good.
Look, I'm continually reminded of the fact that I do need to actually start going through these games. So many other podcasters I've been listening to have like gone and replayed all of them from back to back. Because my familiarity is really in 5, followed by 4, and then some bits of 6. Which I remember finishing 6 back in the day and enjoying the story, but just the gameplay was kind of a like, you know, you could have asked for more. But yeah, it is a series that I would love to just go and play through and experience all of them, all the remakes more than anything. I don't think I'm necessarily going to go back to the originals. And this does just look like more of that wonderful goodness. Yeah, when it comes to the storytelling, they have jumped the shark, but you just kind of had to go along with it. Like it's like being involved in a soap opera. How long can you continue something that's already kind of had the exact same arc told again and again? Like there's only so many times that this zombie outbreak can continue to just perpetually exist. You've either cleaned it up or you haven't.
Yeah.
But it's their moneymaker. This is the universe that you're invested in, and these are the characters that we've fallen in love with, and they're obviously trying to also establish a couple of new bloods. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, they walk away from that character and try to tell another tale, or they eventually go back to one of the older characters. So again, it's soap opera. You're along for the ride. Does it have to make sense? Not necessarily. Not for this. It's meant to have a sense of campiness. And like you usually find these games do, because they start in this very grounded place, and before you know it, you're in this weird sciencey lab that's hidden underneath a standard manor or a standard location that you're just like, wait, how the fuck was this built? And they're doing what under here? And how does this all relate to what? So, yeah, I think it's great. I think it sounds like people, for the most part, are enjoying themselves. It's more Resident Evil. Can't go wrong. Go and support Capcom. I think they're making fucking excellent work.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy that they're taking the time to re-release what is it? Capcom vs Marvel?
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah. That's awesome. They're going through their library and giving it some more love. So I agree. I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. All right. Let's get into some of the more meaty ones because we are getting late.
All right. Do we want to talk about the Nintendo stuff?
Go for it. Shoot it out of the hip.
So I'm going to talk about what I thought was going to be in the presents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll talk about what was in the presents. So, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. How faithful are they going to be for the original release? Have there been any modifications to the games on the Switch? Is there online compatibility, Pokemon Home compatibility? Have they included the events in the game? Are they re-releasing event tickets to obtain the Gen 2 legendaries, Gen 3 with Deoxys? Are there any surprises to be expected, like having Espeon and Umbreon in the game? Then Pokemon Gen 10 reveal, speculation as it may be released this year. Pokemon Legends 3 reveal, too soon to reveal. Pokemon side games. So most of that I got right, except for Legends 3. But there was the Nintendo Treehouse showcase for Pokemon Pockapia. It looks so good. I'm really excited to play it in a couple of days.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when is the release date?
5th of March.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's around the corner.
I'm
literally around
really excited to play this. It just feels so fun and intuitive. They're utilizing Pokemon, and I'm fucking sign me up. This is awesome. So that is pre Nintendo Presents. So we'll get into the presents now. They've announced a Game Boy Music player gadget, so you can put in little cartridges into a little Game Boy, and it's a music player. Awesome. Very cute. Pokemon Champions will be the official game to be used in the World Championships from this year onwards.
Okay, can you explain what Pokemon Champions is? I watched the trailer for it because I was curious. Is it its own game?
Correct.
Okay.
So Pokemon Champions is taking the turn-based traditional battle system.
Yes.
And that's all you're getting. You've got singles, doubles, Mega Evolution, Z Crystals, Gigantamax, Terrestrial, Terrestrializing, all your gimmicks into one game. Every Pokemon, I believe, is available to put into the game. So I think it relies on you having the mainline games to then transfer into Champions so that you can use it competitively. So you train it up in the game and then transfer it into Champions.
Right.
That's my interpretation of this. Because I don't think you catch Pokemon in this. It's purely just a battle system.
Well, I wasn't sure whether it operated on the same design philosophy as, what was that old Pokemon Stadium back on the 64, where they just go, we're just going to throw every single Pokemon here, and they're generally balanced to what they're meant to be. And then you select what level these Pokemon are going to be, and maybe train them in game, or you're just literally using them for the battle and seeing who's better at utilizing the strategies with various Pokemon.
That may be the case, but in a competitive scene, you can't have those Pokemon because people have spent months EV training, finding the perfect Pokemon, training them up, getting their moveset. So I think it might be a mix of both of them.
Yeah.
But that is also releasing this year in April on the Switch first, and
And
then
then
phones
mobile.
at the
Yeah.
end. Then we've got a TCG announcement, so more trading card Pogo events announced, which that's cool. EX Masters with new characters, which I'm sorry. If you're bringing Red into EX Masters and he has the aesthetic of the art style of the manga, make a fucking game with that art style. Don't tease us. Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Sleep. They've got new updates. Mew is now in Sleep. Pokemon Unite now has the Bird Trio as playable characters, and 3 new starter trio will be playable characters soon.
Yep.
The TCG game has a new pack. Now we're getting into a bit more of what I am really interested in. Pokemon Gale of Darkness is coming out in March on the GameCube emulator for the Switch too.
Okay.
I am very excited because that game is really fun and I never finished it on the Wii U. So I'm very excited to play it.
Nice.
This game is really expensive. We're talking around $500 on eBay. It's
for the original? Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
It's fucked.
Well, GameCube, there probably wasn't that many sold in the first place. That makes some sense.
But now we can play it on the Switch too.
Yep.
And it looks really fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all up-res by the looks of it, just from what I'm seeing here.
So that's coming out soon. So sometime this month. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green will have home compatibility, and that's coming soon.
Nice.
So you can transfer from. So that I'm very happy with. Pokemon Champions releasing in April. Pokemon Legends ZA DLC is getting a little update where you can get a new Mega Pokemon, and it's a side mission. It's free in quotation marks. You just need the DLC. Then Pokemon Pokepier, new Pokemon form for Rotom. They've introduced that there's an actual cooking mechanic in the game, and that has an impact on your relationships with other Pokemon as well as yourself. So you can get buffs. So if you use Water Gun on a larger area instead of just a smaller area, that's awesome. The multiplayer side of things, they've introduced that you can play sort of hide and seek in a way, so you can transform into objects.
Yep.
So I think that's really cute. I think it's a really fun incentive for online interactivity.
Yep.
I didn't realize Koei Tecmo was part of the development.
Okay.
I forgot, or I didn't know. So that was surprising. Now,
it's always fun learning about some of the behind the scenes development.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like, oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck, you made that or you produced that? Good work. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the big announcement.
All right, so
Pokemon
can I finally play
Generation
this fucking trailer?
10.
I can play this fucking trailer?
Absolutely.
Thank
Pokemon
God.
Winds and Pokemon Waves.
First off, can I just point out, and I had to go back and look at the last trailer for, what was the last one that came out on the Switch?
Legends. Legends ZA.
Yeah, maybe. But I didn't realize.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I think it's Scarlet and Violet. I didn't realize that the marketing team gets so fucking pretentious. Like the last advertising that they did was this guy going through, like a security guard that finds a
Yeah.
door that opens up, and then he gets like whisked into the Pokemon world. And this is like, oh, we're gonna show you some drawings. Isn't this pretty?
So
Don't you
this
feel
is every
nostalgia? It's like, for
generation.
fuck's sake. It's a very Japanese thing. It's like, okay, cool. That's how
I
you're
love
doing
it.
it. That no, like, I can see how people will enjoy it. I look at this and I'm
Johto,
just like, let's go. Come on,
Hoenn,
guys. Show me the fucking trailer.
Sinnoh,
Show me the proper. I want to see this.
Unova,
And then you get,
Kalos.
yeah. Moving on. Blah blah blah. Oh, and then we get this like really
Oh,
cute
what the
animation of
hell?
Pikachu. It's very gorgeous. And then we get a door, and we open the door, and we're now looking at the ocean and the decking. And oh, what's that? It's more Pikachu. What? It's just bizarre. Anyway, then we get to the trailer.
Switch to exclusive. So no Switch 1.
Yep.
Open world again. So non-linear gameplay.
Really, if you can't tell, this looks stunning.
Oh.
And you don't realize how much of a difference in tech the Switch 1 to Switch 2 has. Because you look at the water, you look at the render of a lot of the animals. Yeah, okay, they could always be more desired from some of the land textures, but go fuck yourself. It's still a portable device. Like, Game Freak will disappoint as always. Wait for the actual broken, unoptimized release. Maybe Impulsive is right. But so far, what I'm seeing,
Is
looks
it gonna
pretty
sell?
fucking solid.
Yeah. It's gonna sell regardless. I'm really excited because not only are we going to be exploring different islands, we are now exploring
Under the ocean.
again, and we
Yeah.
haven't done that since Sapphire and Ruby. So I'm really looking forward to it. We'll be using a hoverboard scooter to get around.
Mm-hmm.
I think the starters are really adorable. My main concern is that I really hope the dog stays as a quadruped and not as a bipedal. Please, for the love of God. It
is a Pomeranian. Fucking hell. Pombon. Oh my god.
I am wondering about what the whole system of this game will be.
Like what the main crux of the gameplay is.
Yeah. Like, why is there a Gyarados cloud?
There's a what? Oh, there is too. I never noticed that. Good eye.
Thanks. What the fuck does it mean?
Who knows? Maybe you can fly.
Oh, probably.
No, look.
This is going to be really enjoyable. I'm trying not to get too excited, but I know I am. There's a core group of Pokemon games that I have found to be the most enjoyable, and that's Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, Legends Arceus, Legends ZA, and Pokemon Platinum. I think those 5 games have really been such a hit for me that I feel like this is taking me back to Sun and Moon. And it's like, I'm going to be going to different islands. I'm just going to be chilling. Like, the vibes are there. And I fucking hate the beach. I hate the ocean. But this just looks so fun. And it kind of gives me the vibes of the classic 2000 games where, do you remember Final Fantasy X? you start on a
Yep.
beach.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts
Yep.
1, you start on a beach.
Yep.
Like, the beach was that vibe of those old school games. And I feel like we're getting that again. And
Yep.
I'm kind of just like, fuck yeah, let's go back. But I think I get it. Sure, everyone should have their concerns. Absolutely. But when we saw the trailer for Scarlet and Violet, we saw very much what we were getting. That windmill was spinning at 3 frames per second in the trailer, and it played the same when we played the game. It wasn't until the Switch 2 update came out and it was fixed. I feel what we see is very close to what we are going to get.
Yeah.
Plus, the leak kind of confirms that this is what we're getting. So I am fine.
Yep. Nah, it looks good. I mean,
I'm excited.
I'm not a Pokemon fan to any massive stretch of degree, but if I was, yeah, honestly, even just as a non-fan, this sells it to me. So, well done for Game Freak for getting off their ass, and maybe well done for Nintendo for helping them, build a better system that was capable of handling this kind of tech.
So double the amount of budget since Legend ZA.
Thank fuck.
And they're taking an extra year of development. Because the game's coming out next year.
Oh, really? So it's not this year?
No.
Right.
I am guesstimating February. I don't know why. That's just my guess.
They know that they need this to be big, or they want this to be big.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's good. That's really good.
They've got a lot of stuff in the works, keeping a lot of their games running, their side games primarily, but I'm really happy to see them make the move for their world championships to be played on one centralized game rather than utilizing, well, let's play on the latest game. So, for example, Winds and Waves, but you've only got 400 Pokemon available, so you can't use your favorite Pokemon. But in Champions, it's every Pokemon, so you don't have those restrictions of, fuck, well, I'm going in the World Championships, I can only use this 6. No. This game gives you everything. All the gimmicks, utilize it. This is a Pokemon battle. So I'm very happy with this decision that they're making and allowing their mainline games to be just adventures.
But that
You
said,
can still battle.
No, but that said, the balancing would be a fucking nightmare because obviously from generation to generation, the way the Pokemon kind of operate are slightly different from a numeric value standpoint. So how do you then dictate, okay, what do you mean ban? Like you're
Rayquaza was banned for championships for a very long time because of how broken he was.
No, but let's forget that. You're training a Pokemon, say, on Fire Red, and you're getting like a basic Pikachu, but maybe the numbers on the Pikachu for like this game might be better or it might be worse. Who the fuck knows? And you got someone training a Pikachu, the ideal Pikachu, in this game, and now the two of them put it through Champions, theoretically get the numbers that are their numbers from their retrospective game. How does that all play into... This is what I mean. This is why I feel like it still needs to play on whatever what they consider is your base rule set. So even if you are training them they still need to abide by some like generic rule set so that it's fair across the board, regardless of what system you're playing on. This is why I'm
I
so
think that's
curious about
only for
how
IVs. So IVs are static. It's the EVs that is what's determined. So, for example, when you do a online battle with someone, you can set all Pokemon to level 100 or 50 or whatever their natural level is. If you set them to 50, which is the that looked so funny.
what?
It looked like you pushed the screen.
There?
That was so funny. Yeah, because you moved back and it looked like you pushed the Game Boy screen back.
Oh, like
it was perfectly timed. It was really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, that'll be fun
That
to look
was
at
really good.
the footage. Cool.
So your EVs are how you train them. The IVs are always static to, okay, this is their base level. So for example, Pikachu might be HP at 20, 25 for attack, special attack is 30, and defense is 20, 15 for special defense, and speed is 40 because it's a fast Pokemon. But once you start battling that Pokemon with, say, I think I'll do what I know. If you battle a Chansey, your HP EV of your HP stat goes up, but the IV stays the same.
Not quite following. What do you mean by IV versus EV?
So IV is its base statistics in its way of battling. EVs is what you gain when you battle Pokemon, and specific Pokemon will help increase those stats. So fighting a Chansey ups your HP EV stat, but your IV stat is static. It won't go up.
Wait, really? That's how the game
Correct.
operates? Oh shit, I
Yeah.
didn't even know it went into that kind of
So
depth.
this is why people will train specifically against specific Pokemon to get those EVs
Stats.
up. Yeah.
Shit. That's fascinating.
It runs deep. And not to mention, each Pokemon has specific natures to them. So you've got timid, naughty, shy, I think. Like, there's so many. There's not that many. It's probably about 8 or 10 different types of natures. And then you need to think about, well, if I'm going to breed this Pokemon, I need to make sure that I've got a really good stat parent to breed with the egg group of that Pokemon.
But surely a lot of these mechanics were implemented in some of the more newer games. They mustn't have been there originally because I've never heard of this stuff.
Gen 3.
Shit.
Yeah, it's been around for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Gen 2 introduced some of the mechanics,
but not
for
quite.
EVs. And then I think Gen 3 was the one that really started to kick it off. And then it just became more mainline throughout.
So basically, provided you've got any of the new mainline Pokemon games, which most people by now would have, you're pretty much set up to succeed. Should you put in the time and effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gets easier to have your Pokemon trained up and change its nature. So if you have a Pokemon and it's timid, but you want it as something else, there's items that you give it like a mint, and it will change its nature to that nature. So they've streamlined it to make it a lot more accessible for everyone. I don't delve into that shit. If I see a Pokemon, I catch it. If I see a shiny Pokemon, you're on the team.
Well, you're not playing competitive levels, so.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah.
That shit is intimidating as
Yeah, I bet.
fuck. And y'all freaks out there that do competitive Pokemon, good on you. I'm glad you do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having these Pokemon games. And TCG. I'm glad I don't get into TCG. I would be so poor.
Oh, the trading card, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hustle.
Oh god, yeah.
Bit of a hustle now. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the adults, specifically a sect of adults, have just made it so toxic for any young person to want to get into it in any kind of fun capacity. But I know shopkeepers and other people are trying to find ways to mitigate that as best they can. It's tough, though. It is tough. Because how do you compete with an old fart who's got, like, copious amounts of money? And this is the one hobby that, keeps him sane, other than jerking off.
Well, yeah. But that's everything I have on the Pokemon Presents. And I'm, really excited for Gen 10. I can't wait for it. And any updates that come out, I will talk about and discuss my thoughts
as they come.
Yeah.
I will give you credit. You kept that really short and brief. I'm very impressed.
I tried. I can tell by your face and voice that you are wrecked.
I am still suffering from the fucking flu that Piper gave me. So, yes, I do kind of sound a little low here, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so my throat's in a weird place, but I've got enough energy for this last one. I think this is a good one to end on. Marathon.
Go for it.
I tried this sucker on Thursday or Friday. Maybe Friday. Anyway. The premise itself is actually pretty intriguing because it's obviously set in a future where mankind have essentially sent a massive colony ship to a location called Tau Ceti 4. And
isn't it not set in the Destiny universe?
No, this is not related. As far as I'm aware, it's not related.
They've changed it.
As far as I'm aware, maybe it is supposed to be, but no.
No, this is good. That's good. No, that I'm happy with.
So essentially, this ship gets sent off. It's meant to colonize and, set up like a new base of operations for humans to expand and survive and whatnot. But it's not heard of. Like, it disappears. And then for hundreds of years, there's no word until finally there's some sort of message that gets sent out from that location. And it's either an invite, it's either a threat, like to stay away, who knows. But essentially, the powers that be want to go in and grab whatever they can from this location, which is probably, it's made up of various planets. So you've got the main central government called the UESC, the Unified Earth Space Council, who are like the main jurisdiction, and they play a part on the planets that you're exploring as like a military presence. So they're very much trying to prevent any assets or anything that's, potentially not belonging to some random faction to be taken away. And your role as a runner, who are essentially mercs that have had their brains digitized and put into like these cybernetic bodies specifically for this role to go down to the various planets of Tau Ceti and explore the planets and gather whatever information for their corresponding faction that they're choosing to assist and help in, obviously, for the purpose of payment, so that they can theoretically pay off whatever debts. Some of that lore stuff isn't quite specific, and they don't go into much detail as far as what I've uncovered. And this is what's quite fascinating about the game. So they give you a good kind of backstory. They give you a good kind of premise of what you're doing there, why you're there. And you essentially have these 6 factions that you're helping, and you're choosing to help at any point in time. I've got it written here. Cyber Acme, New Caloric, Traxxas, Mida, Sekaguchi, and Arcana, I think is how you pronounce it. I've only really worked with Cyber Acme and New Caloric. New Caloric seems to be like a medical kind of faction. And Cyber Acme is just like an AI/tech company that do a lot of philanthropy. So they're trying to help the Earth. Okay. And what you're essentially doing as a runner is you're going down. You pick a contract. You start off with Cyber Acme, and as you progress through doing some contracts for Cyber Acme, you then get access to the other various factions. And what you're essentially doing is you're getting a contract, and it'll be as simple as, we want you to go down and we need you to set up the satellite relays in this zone. So you go down, you set it up, and then you can leave. But before you leave, you obviously loot for as much resources as you can, because that's money that you can take back, as well as potentially weapons and other items that are used to upgrade your character. And this is kind of what you're doing. It's what's the game mode? Not survival.
Extraction?
Extraction, yeah. It's an extraction shooter. So for anyone not knowing what an extraction shooter is, you're essentially tasked to go down, complete a couple of tasks, or extract a couple of items and get them out of the zone by any means. And you're either doing that by yourself or with a group of people. In this case, it's 3 that you can have. And anyone that you see, like, it's very much PvPvE, so you're obviously dealing with the enemies or the UESC that obviously come down randomly in very specific areas to provide some level of friction. They're kind of the NPC enemies that you deal with. But then, of course, you can come across other players, and you can choose to engage with them and help them out, or you can choose to be aggressive and kill them and see what kind of resources they get. And the quests obviously change. So, they might ask you to go and collect very specific items. They might ask you to turn on specific data sets or collect information from areas. Now, what's cool is, from an extraction shooter perspective, as far as gameplay, if you're doing the major story contracts, provided you complete the contract, it ticks it off as completed, so you actually get the reward, even if you don't escape from the planet. Oh. So it does keep it moving forward. So, like, the first couple of times I didn't even extract when I was jumping down there. And I would usually either get killed by someone or I got killed. Like there's a room that I walked into that happened to poison me, and because I didn't have anything to fix myself, I died.
Mm-hmm.
Sad me. But because I ticked the box of, all right, I turned on the satellite relay before getting to the actual extraction zone. Yay me, I completed that task. I don't need to worry about it. I don't necessarily extract with the things I found there, but I at least complete that task. Now, whether that stuff gets harder because they then ask you to extract with items is yet to be determined. And you need specific...
Do you want to put marathon on your screen?
Thank you.
Because it's so weird looking at Pokemon.
No. As I'm talking. No, that's a very good point. Yeah, that'll do. That's too short. We'll find something better.
Right click on the video.
Right click it.
Yep.
And press what?
Loop.
Oh, you can do that. Awesome.
Yeah, just let it play on loop and just play.
So the general kind of flow of the game is obviously jumping into a random location on... I've only played one of these maps. I think there's a couple that they've got set up, but they are large maps. They are quite big and varied, and just based off this trailer, it looks like there's some other biomes. So I've only really seen the one, which there's a lot of depth and detail just in that, with a lot of ways that you can enter and exit through certain buildings and stuff.
Is this... okay, so with the map that you played, you can see, like, can you open up a map to see how big it is?
Yep. You get plopped down in a random location, so you don't really pick. I think later you can unlock the ability to pick a general location, just to make it easier to start in a specific space that you need to. And they will tell you, like, all right, we need you to go find some some information in this region. And it'll usually mark out, once you kind of get close to that region, it'll mark out where that specific thing is. Sometimes it doesn't. So you're running around until you find a terminal that you can interact with. And it's like, oh, this happens to be the terminal I need in order to get the information I want. Awesome. Now I can extract. And that's, for the most part, what you're really doing with the game. So the whole crux and the whole loop of it is you're doing these missions for these factions, for one of these 6 factions. And as you do more missions for the faction, you're leveling up the faction rank, and that in turn increases what rewards, and by rewards I mean specific skills and perks that they offer that you can upgrade. And so some of these upgrades require just money. Some of them will require money and a specific item. So then you're also incentivized while you're exploring the world. Okay, I got to keep an eye on these specific items that I need to then extract with. Because if I don't extract with them, I can't upgrade that skill or that perk. And it might be, how quickly are you able to rummage through a backpack, for instance. Or maybe there might be something related to how quickly you can heal someone, or how quickly your skills replenish. So I think it's a lot of that stuff plays into how do you want to level up your character will determine what faction you're probably going to be doing most of the quests for in order to build your best version of the character that you want. But then, of course, these missions that you're doing are in turn also building upon the story and building upon the world building, because you're not just working for these factions that have their own motivations and have their own reason to collect said information, said assets, said things that, were part of this whole colony space station that they sent out So you can imagine there's like 6 massive companies that were all involved with the government to send this colony out. It didn't come back. Everyone, who's worked on this project wants to know why, and either wants to collect their own information back, whatever was studied, if anything was studied, and then also try and get some of their own personal assets back, because of course it's a lot of money. So you get all the motivations, you get all the storytelling kind of all being thrown in as you're doing the missions, which is really neat. And then the game goes an extra step by going, okay, so we have all these other objectives. So if you go into the codex is filled with a whole bunch of these objectives. And they might be, heal yourself 3 times, or heal someone else 5 times, or kill, UESC agents 25 times. And when you complete those tasks, it then unlocks dossiers and information about either that specific enemy type. So you have some background knowledge on what they are, where they come from, how they operate, or it might be other world building kind of aspects about the actual landscape that you're exploring, or about Tau Ceti 4. So just from a world building perspective, I think they found a unique way to tell it and blend it in, provided you're interested, in order to get like this piecemeal telling of the story, and why theoretically whoever landed on these planets died. And then of course you've got like these various aliens that you're also dealing with. So they've like there's the typical kind of Bungie infestation that you're dealing with. So
is when you unlock these dossiers, are they something that you can do over multiple matches, or do you have to do it in that one match?
No, you can do it over multiple.
Right, so you can take as long as you want to
Correct.
complete it to get that information.
Yep.
Awesome.
The tasks themselves, I'm not sure how one and done they need to be, or how like individual, like whether you can do it over multiple runs. I'm assuming you can. But most of the tasks I've done, or the missions I've done, I've kind of done on the go, and then I would typically die. The one time I actually extracted, it was one of those freak scenarios where someone had already set up the extraction point, and I jumped in, and we're both looking at each other and like, whoa, I don't know, like, are we going to shoot each other? Maybe not, maybe yes. And we chose not to, so we both extracted. Yay, everyone survived. But like, I've had moments where people are just out to kill you. They spot you, they see you, they will just want to gun you down regardless. I had a fun moment where like I went in with a team of 3, and we were pretty much staying together for the most part. And what's cool, it's annoying and cool, but provided one of your teammates survive, like I had died at one point through a combat scenario, and I thought, well, I'm dead, like they're not resurrecting me, but I'm still involved in the match. I can still watch and I can still kind of partake. But eventually they came around and found me and resurrected me. I'm like, oh shit, okay, so as long as one person's alive, they can basically resurrect the whole team, which I thought was really cool. However, by the end, when we got to the extraction point, they had extracted without me, and then I got shot from behind by one of the other enemies. So I'm like, fuck, well, you kind of fucked me over here, assholes, which was a bit annoying. But I had one fun moment where when I was playing by myself, I used the guy who uses the cloak. And I gotta admit, the cloak seems to work pretty well, because I jumped into this match and I'm exploring, and I've come across an area that I'm hearing some sound upstairs. So I'm starting to traverse up and platform up this area. and I've spotted him. He hasn't spotted me yet, so I've turned on the cloak right in front of him, and he's popped out, and he's like staring down in front of me, looking confused, like, I thought I heard something, but I'm not seeing anything. And he didn't respond, and I'm just like, okay, he's not moving, he's looked away, now I'll fire. And I killed him. And it was this fun little moment of, oh, awesome. Like, I can take advantage of these tools, and I can be stealthy, and I can approach it and kind of come from nowhere and just avoid confrontation entirely. Or if I'm going, and I can go in guns blazing, I can do that. But there's obviously risk reward kind of to that gameplay style. You get the reward of, getting whatever loot from some of the enemies, but the risk is you are at risk of losing whatever items you bring in, as well as whatever you might have salvaged while you're running around. What I did notice, even though I know because I turned on the feature because I wanted to experience it based on people's experience with Arc Raiders, I had turned on the proximity chat, and I could see it running because I was, running it through my Logitech mic. Unfortunately, I didn't really get anyone else using it. So I didn't hear anyone else make, like, sounding a peep. I don't know if I'm assuming it's meant to be just voice activated, but maybe there is something that's supposed to activate it in general that people don't know about.
Yeah, if it's push to talk.
Yeah, or something along those lines. Even though it's picking up the microphone, maybe there is a button that I need to be pressing for that. So it's a bit annoying that it's not just an organic feature that you can talk, and it's just out loud. People can hear you. Because I think that would add an extra layer of, all right, if I need to be silent, I need to be silent. And I think that's a cool mechanic in itself.
Yeah.
But what I played, man, like, look, I know I'm not necessarily the main poster child for this, but I can see the appeal. And I'll be honest, maybe on a sale, I could almost see the two of us just fucking around and enjoying just collecting some random shit and, like, knocking off some of the missions. Whether it goes anywhere, whether it, like, actually has some sense of completion, that's yet to be determined. That's up to Bungie. But I think they've got something here, and I think they found the right balance in order to give players a sense of progression while still making sure that they are earning aspects of it. So what I played of it, it's honestly a solid game.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the PvP part, what benefit do you have killing someone else?
Their loot. So when I killed, the one or two people that I had got the experience of killing, I was able to loot their weapons. So, and if they're the kind of player that might have been there for a while, they might have been playing the game for God knows how long, and they are bringing in high quality loot. Awesome. Thank you very much. I've taken advantage of you while you might have been dealing with a bunch of these high level enemies. And I've come at, your lowest point when you're, like, so close to dying, and I've just taken advantage of you. And now I can take your gear, and I can take it home, and I can choose to bring it into the next encounter, or I can save it.
Right. So it's got that Tarkov kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It is an extraction shooter through and through. Anyone that's played an extraction shooter will know exactly, will feel right at home. It's just from a first-person perspective with the Bungie kind of gameplay mechanics of maneuverability, shooting mechanics, and some of their little flares from a story perspective, which I think is coming through really cleanly and clearly. Based on this trailer, I'm seeing, all these extra mechanics that I didn't even delve into, but I can see how spending time with the various factions, the various shells, because that's what they're called, are shells that you can pick, which are obviously the various gameplay styles, will all have their pros and cons, whether they're, well designed for a team kind of aspect, or whether they're designed for, I'm just going in by myself and I can tank it, or I can hide in the dark and get what I need and get the fuck out. So there's real potential for this. The rest really comes down to how well Bungie supports it, and
Yeah,
how
how
well
committed they are.
and how committed they are to their fan base. Once they're in, how committed are they to making sure that the fan base is getting what they want? Because I think there's potential here. Like, you don't have vehicles. I can see at some point them releasing maps with vehicles. There's no dedicated play space that you can, make your own. So like your own little personal room that you can customize and add things to. There's nothing like that. But I can see them releasing DLC later down the line where it's like, hey, like Warframe, here's your own little spaceship or your own little kind of room that exists in this space station. And so you can find little trinkets in the world that you can add into your little space and make it your own. I can see them playing with that as ways to keep the player invested and make them feel like they are the time that they spend in the game, as well as whatever they choose to spend cosmetically or financially, means that they can get value for money and a fun experience while they're either playing by themselves or with friends. So there's something there, and I think there's something that they can explore. How well they deliver is really to be determined.
Do you think the price point that it's at, so I think it's $60? You said that you were going to wait for a sale, which I think always wait for a sale.
Based on, look, it's, for me, it's a simple case of, it's 6th of March. I know it's the more recent game that's coming out, but I'm not interested in playing this for the next couple of weeks or months. But it's something I'm definitely interested in trying and spending some time with. I just know that a lot of these multiplayer games, because I'm not invested in them the way majority of people typically play these games are, I know I'm not going to get the value for $60. Like, I got Call of Duty from Jason, which I'm so grateful. He didn't have to buy it, but he chose to buy it for me as a present. It was very nice of him. And I played that for a couple of weeks. We did a couple of matches, and I never went back. Now, if I'd spent $110 on that, I would have been like, I didn't get my value worth. I'm getting my value worth out of a $12 game that was released 8 years ago, because I'm enjoying we've talked about the handcrafted experience. That's not to say things aren't handcrafted here. It's just the way the story is being told is not the way I want the story to be told. It's very clever. It's very well designed. And I think it leaves a lot for, like, it is simple enough that someone who doesn't care about that and just wants a really fun game is going to jump in and have a fun game and going to go around shooting shit and finding ways to upgrade their, various character. But then there are other people, the law specialists, that are going to go in and fucking comb through this in order to figure out all the ins and outs of this world and make sense of exactly what happened on Tau Ceti and why this colony ship failed and why there's all these buildings that have been left behind but no one's there to maintain it. You're going to have your lore nuts that are going to have YouTube videos fucking through the wazoo. coming out for this
Yeah.
thing. And I think that in itself shows that it has community success. I mean, how many people went off and bought Night Rain? Like I didn't, because I'm not that kind of player. But so many people did, and they've enjoyed it, and they've played it again and again. This operates in the same vein. Honestly, I think I enjoyed this mechanically more than Night Rain, only because like I don't play Souls games that in that kind of ilk. But this I know I can do by myself if I want to. Like I can do a couple of matches by myself and knock out a few little missions or some little tasks. Or I can jump in with you or jump in with a couple of randos and feel like, okay, we're knocking out some stuff together. And that in itself is relatively rewarding.
Okay. So there's a solid foundation at the moment.
I think so.
For you. Yeah.
Yep. Like, I can see why people are playing Tarkov. Like, if this is what Tarkov offers, then yeah. But I gotta admit, the way Marathon's delivering itself from a world-building perspective, I think intrigues me more. And now I'm actually more curious about something like Ark Survival. No, not Ark Survival, sorry.
Ark Raiders.
Ark Raiders. Mm-hmm. Because that, I think that world, as well as the third-person aspect, makes it interesting to me in a different way. But it is just a simple case of, do I really want to spend the money on something like this when I've got other titles that I'm sinking my teeth into already? If I had money to burn, sure. If I knew that I was only going to play this for the next 3 or 5 months, sure. It's not, but for someone who wants a really fun shooter that they want to play with a couple of mates, yeah, I honestly think it's worth the $60.
Okay.
I think there's going to be enough content just in even leveling up for the various factions. There's going to be more than enough content for people to do. You're going to have your nuts that'll probably do it in a weekend or a couple of weeks. But for most players, it'll take a while. It really will take a while. So it's just one of those things you just slowly chip away at and enjoy the little bits of storytelling that they deliver in their weird little way. So, yeah. Check it out.
Well, it just finished installing, so something I'm going to give a try for the... When is it until?
I think the 3rd. So there's a couple of days. You can enjoy it tomorrow. Maybe even Monday night. See how you go.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged by like losing the first couple of times. It might take you a little bit to get into the flow. But once you do and you figure out kind of the do's and don'ts, it is fun. Like there was one task and I was doing so well and I'm spewing. I wasn't like aware enough to just go, stop what I'm doing, pay attention to what's about to happen. Because I'm essentially tasked by the, what are they called? The new caloric to go find a data thing from like a specific infested location. So you go there and you've got like you've seen in the trailer the bugs, but they've got like their little bug nests. So you shoot the nest so that the bugs don't keep coming out. And I find the way into this little infested area from the top, from the roof, get in, deal with all the infestation, collect the data. So I've finished my task, but now I need to get out. And I hear shooting outside. So I'm like, someone's coming. And what I should have done was fucking waited in a corner, turned invisible, and just waited for the asshole to rock up. But no, I just continued searching and scumming, like rummaging through some random fucking storage locations till all of a sudden I'm about to walk out the room and I get shot by another fucking stalker. I'm like, God damn it, fuck. If I just waited in the corner, I would have had him come around, like, you know, and caught him unsuspecting. It's fun. When you get the kind of groove and the feel, it is fucking rewarding. And I can see the appeal.
Okay.
Like
I'm intrigued.
I feel like I'm having to justify this game. I really don't. You're either going to like it or you're not.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it feels like it's an evolution of the Battle Royale to some degree. Because like a Battle Royale, you know that you're trying to be number one.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, you're all going in, everyone's got very specific tasks. Sometimes the tasks align, sometimes they don't. But you're just trying to get in, do the thing you need, and get out with as much as you can uncover or as much as you can escape with, while you're dealing with, you know, the forces that be on the ground level as well as each other. And it is that kind of cat and mouse game of, all right, how hidden do I want to be, or how aggressive? Yeah, there's just, it's an interesting kind of level of tension, while still feeling like there's a sense of reward. Even if I fail, I still feel like, okay, I've done the thing I needed. I got rewarded for that. I didn't get all of the reward because I didn't walk out unscathed, but I at least feel like I'm progressing. So, yeah, check it out.
Okay.
And then you can tell me next week what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. I'll make sure that I have a substantial experience with it, because I want to avoid just having an opinion of, I did a match and I didn't vibe with it. I want to give it a fair go.
Yeah, and like, this is the thing. It was kind of a 5 or 6 match type of thing, where once I figured out what the game was about and I figured out all its systems, I went, okay, now I understand the flow. Now I understand the loop. And I can see why this is fun and addictive, because it's all about the small wins. And when you get the big wins, they're like, I can see how that would be addictive. But it's about getting the small wins to feel like you're like moving the goalposts just a little bit further every single time. And then the rest comes down to your play style and how you want to play the game, which, you know, it does offer a nice variety of ways. So, yeah. See what you think. You can tell me next week. Anyway, my voice is leaving me.
Yeah,
I didn't realize how bad I was sounding until I just... Maybe I should just start talking down here. Might be a little bit easier from now on. Anyway, all you out there lovely people, have yourselves a wonderful time. You can catch me on my next show on Wednesday, 7:30 Australian Melbourne time, playing Lies of P. And Street Rat Atlas, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch live on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, going through my campaign of Liza P, because I am eager to get it finished so I can start other games.
So fucking close. You and I are just like right there.
Yeah. Not to mention, you're fairly close to the end of the base game as well.
I know. I just need to
Fairly
get back
close.
I just need to get back to the Alchemist's Cave and explore that because I haven't done that yet. And I know you've done that and then surpassed the boss, I think. So
Yeah, which fucking hell. That Redux fight is a bitch.
I'm not surprised. The whole game's a bitch. The whole fucking game's a bitch. This is why I'm looking forward to Crimson Desert. When I see that, I'm like, yes, give me something that I can just enjoy peacefully and just grind out my character if I want to. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's something more arcade. But
yeah.
so yeah, I'll be going live on Wednesday on Twitch at 1 o'clock. And thank you, everyone. This has been really enjoyable. And we have essentially finished Act 2 of Baldur's Gate 3 tonight.
Thank fuck. Thank fuck. Taking long
Thank
enough.
you for taking time back to redo that fight. I think it was well worth it.
No, it was. It was. I think that played out much better. We actually got to keep the characters. Yay, everyone survived. That might help with the storytelling. So
literally everyone.
That was
so I'm
cool.
happy.
Yeah. So yes, you can continue watching us next week playing some Baldur's Gate here on our channel. And of course, we'll be continuing our podcast as usual every Saturday, 7:30 till whenever we choose to end.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can catch me on YouTube or Twitch at Jake_Starvik. Have a wonderful night. Take care, and we will chat with you soon. See ya.
Good night.